Well, hello, everybody. Starting off about half an hour early on today's, which isn't too bad, I think. All three of them have been early. People were kind of whingy about the earliness of the other ones, so I'll have you all know that I was sat here for half an hour just waiting to do the stream, basically, today. Just so that people wouldn't be so offended by me going early. So anyway, I'm actually quite tired as well today, and hopefully I'll keep the energy up. Gonna go get some coffee, and today I promise we're gonna do a couple of races and then straight into Halloween. So it should be fun. See you guys very soon. So I just got my coffee just a second ago. It's bloody boiling, and I'm not going to risk burning my lips off taking a little sip of it just yet. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, all that stuff we said we were going to do yesterday, we're actually going to do it, and that means the festival. However, we are going to do a little bit more of Path of Fire as well. We're going to do those 2 races, and what was the other thing? Okay, there's 2 races. There's the Vabby meta. Oh, and then there's the anomaly at the end of the JP. We're going to do that as well. But not the meta. The meta will leave for like next weekend. But with the anomaly JP thing done in Vabby and the 2 races done, with all of that finished, I believe we've done all of the core content of Path of Fire. Except that meta, which we'll do next weekend. So we're just going to do that. That's going to take us maybe, as far as I anticipate, about half an hour. And we're going to roll into that really quickly. We're not going to have like a really picky, long, nerdy discussion about something stupid pulled from my comments. We're just going to go straight in just a moment. In fact, I'm launching the game right now. And we'll go for it. We are still on EU. Now, today I've actually advertised this stream, so hopefully we get a reasonable number of people around and we can actually fill a squad up. If not, I will start leaning on the side that maybe EU doesn't care anymore, guys. Maybe, and all those little baby... well, little babies, Christ, that suddenly got really offensive before I finished it. Not little babies, what was I trying to say? I was trying to get across the opinion that EU versus NA debates are juvenile, and I almost called everyone on NA a baby. So there you go, NA. There's a reason to hate me. Yeah, no. So we can devolve into the EU versus NA stuff, and I'm sure people who really enjoy the idea that NA is better will be very satisfied. So we will see how this goes. NA Master Race hashtag. Rip EU rage quit. Well, we'll do EU. We'll run the squad on EU, and we'll see if we can get a squad. Genuinely, I mean, it's not like I really tried to get a squad the other 2 streams this weekend. So we'll see. When will Spud 1 get the new guild hall? Has this been planned yet? Yeah, we do have an idea for it. I think in like a month or so. In fact, yeah, we'll trigger the upgrade on the hall as well, which we should have done quite a while ago. So, like I said, we're going to go in really quick. I just launched the game. Boom. We're going to go in. Now, there is no reshade right now. So what I'm doing on today's stream is I kind of just recently really produced a video on the mount radial menu hotkey swapper thing. And so I haven't chain loaded that, and I haven't properly looked into how all of that works. So we're not running Guild Wars 2 Hook today, which means that it will look a little bit worse, but it's not a big deal. But we will have happy, quick, hot swappy mount things, which is nice, because hopefully people will stop going on and on and on about such a stupid, drab, boring topic. I actually think it's got to the point now that people just, I don't know, people are offended that that I haven't taken... Well, I don't know what it is. Anyway, look, we got this, and this should be very cool. So we can swap around, we can have some fun. But straight to the guild hall first, and let's see what we've got. I'm going to waypoint in. We don't have to walk in. We can waypoint in. Alfarian25 said, did you like that tweet I put up today? I haven't had many tweets today, so I think I know exactly what you're talking about. And you're the person that was watching cat porn, aren't you? Was it cat porn or was it cat food porn or something? Yes, I thought it was very funny. I actually genuinely thought it was really cool. It was a cool tweet. If you are that person. And that's going to sound really weird to everyone else, but basically they just posted a screenshot of their browser, which had a questionable Google search on it. But also pointed out that if they just press T in, it auto-fills for Wooden Potato Switch straight away. So yeah. It's a Guild Wars 2 meme at this point. Someone pointed out, I genuinely think I'm going to do this. On the next Q&A, it might be really funny if I have the background footage of the next Q&A, me playing entirely with like the Windows user keyboard, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Where I have to click on a virtual keyboard on screen to do all of my movement, and it would be completely unexplained and not divulged or talked about in any of the questions or anything. It would just be, oh, hey guys, here's a video, gameplay is me going back to the personal story, have fun, and it would just be me doing that. And I think it's hilarious on so many levels, because what I can do is I can press, instead of clicking with instead of skill clicking like so, I can skill click by clicking on the virtual keyboard to press the skill that will then... Oh, and it will be so funny. So I kind of want to do it. And what day of the week is that? And we got a Q&A coming up in just a couple of days. So who knows? Maybe. So I saw a lot of cool videos recently. I saw mostly adventure-related stuff. Somebody's posted how they got all their number ones. One individual on NA owns like 6 number 1 slots on the current adventures, which is super thrilling. And they show some really ridiculous routes and capabilities with the Griffin that was very, very, very fun. And I recommend you guys, if you're watching this right as it's live, to check out that thread. You can leave the stream and go check it out if you want. But they've got all these little things. They posted a Sonic clip in as the background music of one of their videos, and it reminds me of Theme Hospital so much. Gotta love Theme Hospital. All right, what am I doing? We are supposed to be building an upgrade, but it's not a mine upgrade. I think it's a workshop. Is it the workshop? So I'm going to build a squad. Guys, we want a squads. We don't need a squad, but the races will look poop without a squad. So let's have a nice full squad and play together. This is on EU. Let's all play together, because then what that allows us to do is have beautiful, nice footage of ram-packed races all across the expansion, yeah? I'm so bad at this hall. I don't really know where I'm supposed to go. Maybe in the tavern, right? That's where we start the workshop from. Hello, Oladus. Just got home just in time for a WP stream. You did indeed. Welcome, welcome. It's nice to see you. What we got here? I have a question about Spud Club. I was wondering whether players from EU weren't as preferred in the guild to US players, since you're not often on EU servers that often. No, what I play on the servers is very much irrelevant. I very rarely go to the Spud events anyway. I'll sometimes appear at missions or something, but it's very... My actual playtime, I'm quite introverted and secluded, and I don't really... I mean, I'll use the guild chat and stuff, but guild chat doesn't... So you can communicate with me through guild chat by being in Spud, but it has nothing to do with server, right? And I always copy all my messages across both guilds as well, or I try to, unless I get caught in a conversation in one branch but not the other. So that's totally irrelevant. At some point we might make one guild EU, the other NA, but we don't. You know, it's a very close split. I think we're on like a 60-40 split at the moment, something like that. So thank you very much to these EU people who've joined. If you guys don't know how to join the squads, what you do is you type into the game /squad join, and then you press a space and you put 3 letters, LYS, that's it. /squad join space LYS. LYS being my character name. So it's /squad join lists, yeah? And that should work. WP is our mascot, not our general. That works well. I think that's a nice little description right there. Just joined. Is it Griffin races or normal? What do you mean Griffin races? Are there any Griffin races in the game? All the races you can use a Griffin on, but there's no Griffin races, are there? There's Griffin adventures. Can someone be clear with me about that? There's no Griffin races, are there? Are there? Is there a full set of races I haven't seen? I was just going to do the regular races. We have a regular race to do in the Desolation, and we have a regular race to do in... It must be Vabby. The other one must be Vabby. If you get to add any kind of mount skin to the game, which would it be and what would it be? I really liked that Super Adventure Springer that they did. I thought that was really cool. All right, let's establish a workshop then. We've got all the stuff for it. I feel kind of bad, though, because not enough spuds are around. People want to witness this, don't they? This is a proper building going up, so maybe we'll do this at the end of the stream. Someone remind me. I get really irritated with all capsing nonsense in chat. It really, really pisses me off. But you are welcome to all caps tell me about the workshop at the end of this stream. And I will listen to that. You almost lower your chance by all capsing on my streams. But on this occasion, you can increase them. At the end of the stream, I want to do this workshop. And this gives people the duration of the entire stream to filter in and come hang out. I wonder if starting early is what's caused this for EU people. I wonder if that's the problem. I don't know. So yeah, there's a Vabby race that's easiest with a Griffin, but it's not required. Yeah, right. So there's no such thing as a Griffin required race, right? There's no such thing as a race that requires any mount, actually, as far as I know. In the meantime, let's do these races. Let's seriously jump into it. People in the squad, what you want to do is you want to come to Sand Jackal Run Waypoint. It's not hard to get to. I'm hoping that you've got a character that's been to the Desolation in Path of Fire by this point. If you haven't, that would be a bit disappointing to me. You want to come here. I'll post it in squad chat for you all. You could also TP to a friend once you're in squad, and you'll be able to get here. So I believe this is where the race starts, or somewhere near here is where the race starts. There's a chest over there, which is curious to me. So they're at Edge in. Let's see what we've got. WP, it needs Griffin, but Glider can bypass it. Oh, really? So the Vabby one does need a Griffin. Oh. Well, I suppose each race does have a leaning towards different mounts. Like, the Skimmer's obviously going to be really nice on this one, right? It doesn't start at the base over there, does it? I have some memories. Look, this is surely it, because that's the flag. Those are the poles, right? Those are the flags for this race, right? Right? These here. This is the end of the race. Isn't there usually an NPC, though, that says, hey, this is the race? Maybe someone in chat can help us out. And we will see. Wow, damn that Mount Will. Yeah, we just did a video talking about this. And I think it's pretty cool. There's a lot of, like, I don't know, pettiness going on. I'm not sure. There's been quite a lot of comments on that video of people saying, oh, why would you... First, just lies. People saying, oh, it's more buttons. It's not more buttons. It's the exact same amount of buttons as using direct keybinds. The delay is in moving the mouse over each thing. The radial menu is the exact same number of buttons. The difference is it's the same button twice, not different buttons each time. Like right now, if I tried to get onto the Griffin, I can't just press F9 and go to it. I press F9 once to get off and then F9 again to get on. It's the same here. I press X once to get off and then X again to get on. It's 2 presses. So straight up, people just wrong about that. But people seem determined to hate on the wheel, and I don't know why. I think it's flavorful. I think it's nice, and I think it's good for people with very few, with very little act. Look at us. We're actually talking about the binds. Such a boring topic, guys. But it is cool. The add-on's cool. The people like rebelling against it. You know, since when has the community got into a place where they see talent and an interesting add-on and they say that it's pointless to talk about? Look, you got to foster this kind of stuff. You got to talk about. It's cool that the community has this. I don't know what people seem to have lost their sense of humor or got far too serious about things. It's a proper drag. It's a real shame. Yeah, I think it's practical and nice, and it doesn't even have to be that practical. That's my point. It doesn't even have to be that practical. This is cool, and I'll use it for a little while. Someone says, my instance, Rain Pumpkin, nice to see you again, says, I had one and the race has just started. So is it here, though? What I need to know is where it starts. I'm happy to do the waiting, but does it start here? I think it should start here. Christ, it's getting early. It's getting late early in the day. Jesus. I think it looks awesome. Super handy for people with a lack of unbound keys to use. Someone says, it's neat to add on, but I prefer to use the numpad. See, my numpad is my actual combat skills because of the way I have my MMO mouse set up. Okay, but people are saying, yes, it does start here. So, there you go. Zigzag says, hi, Mum. Your mum's not watching this, Zigzag. Let's face it. Your mum's not a Guild Wars fan. She's not around. Is that number next to Guild Wars 2 in the options menu the player base? 83,000 people. No. Wow. Do you know what? That's an interesting thing. What do you guys think the player base is higher or lower than that? It's got to be lower than that, surely. Surely. Number of people online. This is the build. Guild Wars 2 version 83.379, I guess, or whatever. Yes, it does start. I'm just saying because you could be in a hurry. Okay, yeah, this is the build number. Hi, Obama. All right, there we go. Obama is watching, definitely. You know, this is like so egotistical and arrogant and gross for me to even admit has ever run through my mind, but it has before. I wonder who, like, the most famous person is that's ever heard of me, right? I wonder about that. That's so egotistical, isn't it? It's so, like, icky. But I have wondered that. Because, like, and one of the main times I find myself frequently remembering it is I just finished watching Adventure Time, right? And we don't have to go into whether the show was worth it as an experiment, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot I could say, but no one's interested in my opinion on this shitty kid show. Anyway, so I watched a lot of that. And the guy that voices one of the main characters, the dog in that, also voices Kanak in Guild Wars 2, all right? And I'm a fan of his work in other places as well. I wonder whether he, having voiced Kanak, looked at the reception to Path of Fire at any point, or it's just a job where he just flits from studio to studio to studio and it doesn't really matter. But, you know, if said voice actor does look at reception to the game online, that would lead them to Wooden Potatoes quite quickly, I think, wouldn't it? Let's be, you know, it's a bit arrogant to say, but I think it would. So it's weird to think that, like, if I did a review of POF, like, John DiMaggio would see it and he'd hear my critique of Kanak, right? It's weird, isn't it? But so I wonder stuff like that. YouTube has a thing on it that tells you who follows you that has the most subscribers, which has always been a really gross feature. It's there so that people can, like, bandwagon around and collaborate and network with other people who have worth because of their subscriber counts, and just this, like, dirty underside to YouTube success that I will never, ever, ever find myself involved with, because I'm just too shy and I just think the whole prospect is gross in the first place. But you can kind of snoop at who knows something maybe on that on occasion. But aside from that, I would have no idea. Calamari says maybe Felicia Day. Yeah, because she's kind of clued in on the internet and stuff, right? So maybe in the 2012 release, but I wasn't such a big shot in 2012, guys. I wasn't Moneybags WP back then. Of course, now I got the whole world on beneath me. But back then, I was just a nobody. Alright. 6 degrees of Wooden Potatoes. Yeah. I always imagine walking around at night, like walking the dog at night, right? And you look through someone's window, and they're, like, watching a YouTube channel that you recognize. The funny thing is, though, most people, as far as I can tell, are... if you do this, and it's a bit creepy. I think I talked about it in a stream a few months back when I was doing a lot of walking around. People are mostly still watching TV in the evenings. As far as I can tell, mostly, like, if someone's 40 plus, the odds that they're watching a television at, like, 10 o'clock at night in their living room is, like, probably 99 out of 100 of them are doing that. And of the people at their PC, they're probably, I don't know, on AOL chat or some crap, as far as I know. I don't know who you people watching that are on this stream, because you're not the people I see in their living rooms. The name's WP, but you could call me Moneybags. 2012. Yeah, now the ArenaNet devs exclusively make the game cater to your desires. You've made it. Oh, Beta Ace X. We have a legend in his own right. Beta Ace X, everybody, is the person who made probably the most successful Guild Wars 2 thread on Reddit ever in the game's life. So we have a celebrity in chat right now. Look at that. And look, he's being nice about me. That makes me like an ultra celebrity. When's this race starting? Because this is getting bad now. People are not going to see the irony. I hope people do lighten up, by the way. In all seriousness. I don't know. People seem very Joker-verse lately. Can I please link the thread? Maybe Beta Ace X can himself. I'm 41 and watch WP in bed at night. I'm glad, man. That's cool. You can't see in my living room because I live on the second floor. Oh, I honestly thought that comment was going to be, you can't see in my room. You can't see in the rooms of anyone who watches Wooden Potatoes because we're all in basements. I'm going to pretend that's what you said. And laugh heartily at it. Or cackle. My laugh's become a bit of a cackle, I think. You love the Joko-verse. What's the Joko-verse? Ultra celery. God, this is pretty frustrating. How slowly did these spawn? I do want to do Halloween. This would be absurd if I don't do Halloween 2 streams in a row. What WP truly thinks of his audience comes out. Let's be honest. The chance that someone is A, in a basement that watches me. B, overweight that watches me. C, is... what's another detrimental thing I could say? The odds that these are higher among an MMO YouTubing audience, you know, we're all adults. It's probably a bit higher. There's no shame in it. This is the world we live in, my friends. And we should be proud. Raise our Doritos to the sky. I mean, my apartment is half underground on one side. There you go, Big Papa 95. Big Papa 95. All the confirmations going on here. WP does protest too much. Calamari says feud. Only 2 out of 3. Oh, don't cry, Guckstream. But now it's a multimedia spanning franchise with a Netflix series and 3 movies. What is, sorry? What are we talking about? Is a multimedia franchise with 3 movies? The Jokoverse. Is that what we're talking about? Wow, you will never be able to look into my window at night and see me watch WP because I'm not real. Oh, these Twitch bots. They shouldn't be posting comments like that. That's going to tip people off into all the viewbotting I do on this website. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. I paid a lot for those viewbots for my little 2-hour streams in the evenings. And now they've become sentient somehow? Outrageous. 2 questions for you, WP. Please do get me to talk about something reasonable. Will you ever have a fan meet, or don't you want to show your face? Q2, have you always hidden yourself for privacy reasons? I do respect that. Yeah, as far as Wood and Potatoes is concerned, I've not really broached that line, and I don't really have any plans for that at the moment either. I think there are worlds in which I, in the capacity of a content creator, would do fan meets and would do face cams and stuff like that. But I've always said that that would just be a situation where the content calls for it, you know. And so far, I think that my content's all right, and I enjoy what I do. And it's kind of become one of those things where it's a bit of a gimmick and something, I don't know, I'm quite attached to. I would say this, if I could start over today, I probably wouldn't do the anonymity thing. But that's only because, you know, it's kind of it's an interesting thing. I don't like to draw too much attention to it because, I don't know, I feel like it becomes a game to people. And like when I talked about this. I've got a look, let me just pass you off to a YouTube video I did about anonymity when Heart of Thorns was coming out. I did a big VOD about that and about how fanatical and weird and creepy people can get, and topics like doxing and stuff like that, and what's interesting to me and my philosophy on these things. I discussed all of that back there. I got a pretty good video on it, as far as I remember anyway. I haven't gone back and looked at it. Thanks for answering. Me and my friends could talk for hours with you regarding Guild Wars 2. We're massive fans. That's really cool, man. That's really cool. There was a pretty hilarious thread about a support Deadeye build on Reddit. What's this? What, on our gaming? A support Deadeye build? I noticed we had another one of those like quite sad raiding things about pug mentality. I kind of want to talk about pug mentality when it comes to raids, and I kind of want to teach people that you don't have to be so dismissive, but it's just so bogged down and heavy, and I don't know. Because here's something, you know, I've taken a long time to chew on and really come to any kind of a conclusion about what I feel about DPS meters. But in terms of the pugging scene, I really think DPS meters could be such a healthy thing. Now, there's a lot of people out there who are just flat out instantly against it. They click the X on the stream the second they hear me even utter something like that, or anyone else. They will not accept anything else, and they're like terrifyingly like stuck in what they believe about them. But I really, really think when you read a thread like what's currently on in our Guild Wars 2, where they're talking about playing, you know, actually getting really high damage but getting kicked all the time just because people don't think that it's meta or whatever. You know, I really think there are some examples in there of, hey, look, if people understood sturdy build, like this community feels very what's the word? What's a word that isn't loaded with all these harsh connotations? I don't know what a good word is. What's the least loaded? Young, right? I don't know. Young's not the right word. The community's still developing, right? Perspectives about certain things are just still, like, someone was saying in that thread about how in WoW, nobody cares about golem benchmarks. Like, that would be laughed out. In WoW, people care about the actual logs and the actual performance. And, like, in sort of some of these, and I'm struggling to not use the word mature games, or, you know, there's kind of a thing going on where people appreciate that there's a difference between on-paper builds and actual builds, and the efficacy of builds that are easy to use versus builds that are hard to use. And in Guild Wars, in the pugging scene, of course, none of this matters when we get into statics and so on, when we choose our friends and we speak, you know, all that kind of stuff. But in the pugging scene, there does really seem to be this very kind of police-like hard line. And it happens in other... The problem is not, like, the enforcement of a meta, necessarily. The problem is what pugs define as their own meta. And I feel like it's kind of a weird shift that I wouldn't have expected. I remember in Guild Wars 1, right? So I described in a recent stream, I said one of the worst places I've seen real genuine elitism in the Guild Wars franchise was Heroes Ascent in GW1. Being discriminated against because you never had Hero Rank 3 to rep it. Being discriminated because you weren't Hero Rank 5 or whatever, right? You didn't have certain emotes. You could not get teams. People were flat out, you know, rude to you. You'd never make it, right? You know, there was real elitism there. To a much greater degree than I see in Guild Wars 2. But even having said that, even understanding that, even remembering that, I also remember that the Heroes Ascent scene in Guild Wars 1, if you were pugging, you were running comps that people knew were pug comps and knew were comfortable for random bands of people to get together and play. And people understood that there was a difference between trying to pull off like a balanced comp that could beat all the rungs and go all the way up and hold halls for a long time, and something like Spirit Way, right? Which was just a face roll thing to farm the initial Annihilation map, or even I don't want to say Iway because Iway was a bit before my time. I'm not quite sure how much of a pug build that was, but there was a very, you know, people understood that there was a difference between random arena builds and team arena builds, and like it was very clear that not everyone was a speedrunner. Not everyone was a farmer. Not everyone was the top 1%. And yet in Guild Wars, and I like to think that we're always making progress. I like to think things are always going ahead. And yet in Guild Wars 2, we seem to have this weird thing where, like, as far as pugs are concerned, that middle ground doesn't exist anymore. Despite how comfortable they'd be, you know, accept a DPS chrono. If the DPS chrono is demonstrated through a DPS meter to be doing more damage than the meta weavers by like double or whatever, keep him in the team. Don't kick him because he's not a meta build. And yet, you know, we get these stories and Reddit threads like this where unfortunately the pugging scene is kind of this very cutthroat world where people don't look beyond what they've been told is the best thing to run as far as the top 1% is concerned, and it is really strange. It's the kind of thing, and so we go back to my original comment of like, it feels young. It feels like we're developing. It feels like we're emergent. It feels like maybe, what, are we still a couple of years off before people sort of realize that the middle ground exists and it's actually way better for pugs to be doing? So I don't know. This is all a bit weird me saying as well because I don't actually pug really. Not that much. I mean, I've seen bits of it, but you guys know I don't pug much. Mostly this is just me extrapolating upon what I see as a content creator and the amount of comments I get about it and seeing Reddit threads and keeping my eye on the forums and stuff like that. That's where I get this from. Whether, realistically speaking, the game does have these horrible, toxic pugs all the time, I actually don't know for sure because it's all on some level. It's not all, it's largely hearsay, though, when I talk about these things. But, you know, assuming Reddit is right, assuming the forums are right, assuming all this fear-mongering and, you know, anger and all these stories are the norm and not the exception, assuming all of that, and I get it, that's a big assumption, and we can criticize that. But assuming all of that, you know, it is a strange thing for me to see, because I never knew that before. And it's not like, oh, Guild Wars 1 was years old when we had all these, you know, there was a well-understood difference between stable builds and insane builds and capabilities. It's not like it was years and years and years between. Guild Wars 1 was, you know, by the time Guild Wars 2, I would now consider Guild Wars 2 in its prime. It's doing fucking great. It's got all this content coming out. It's really good. This is Guild Wars 2's prime. By the time this period of time hit for Guild Wars 1, it was already dead, basically. Guild Wars 1 did not have that long. And yet, it figured that stuff out very quickly. I wonder what that is. What do you guys think? Do you think it's the mechanics of the original game? Do you think it's people? Do you think it's gaming in general? Do you think it's MMOs? Or what do you think it is? Is it because Buildcraft was much more a part of core gameplay in Guild Wars 1, while Buildcraft is not really core gameplay in Guild Wars 2? A lot of people don't ever Buildcraft, really. And that's a weird thing to say, but, you know, they'll slap whatever they think's fun on, and then they'll just be told by someone else what to do. And because of that, is that because build making is more complicated in Guild Wars 2? Is that because it's not tutorialized well enough in Guild Wars 2? Is that because it's not required to complete core content in Guild Wars 2, so people get to the end and they're much more likely to listen to other people? Is it because gamers in general don't think for themselves so much anymore because so much is online and guides and the nature of how, you know, we get information about mod packs on games and things we run? It's all about going to the wiki these days. You know, it's perfectly appropriate to add something in the game that you expect your players to go wiki and hear from word of mouth. So we don't think for ourselves, we rely on others. Well, what is it? It's interesting, isn't it? Why are we in this heavy conversation? I'll tell you why. Because this race hasn't started. What kind of cooldown do these have? Because this is nuts. It's nice to see EU getting a big squad going, by the way. Jeez Louise. That's me. I just don't find Guild Wars 2 buildcraft very fun. For some reason, even though back in Guild Wars 1, I thought of builds all the time. PvE in Guild Wars 2 is a lot easier than Guild Wars 1. You had to buildcraft to PvE in Guild Wars 1. You had to buildcraft. Hey WP, I bought both expansions yesterday, and now I'm getting crushed under content overload and looking at dailies in places I had no idea even existed. Well, don't worry about that, man. Don't worry about the dailies. Just play at your own pace. Let the story be the thread you tug on as you explore all these new worlds. We got another 15 to 20 minutes before it launches. Really? We must have just missed it then, right? Here you go. So Torvis76 says, look, PVX Wiki. So PVX Wiki is Guild Wars 1's like buildcraft website. All right. And I think that there are backups and things online. Torvis76 says that PVX Wiki would have 10 to 15 builds that were meta for each class, then another 10 to 15 excellent builds. In Guild Wars 1, you learned what worked for you, not what worked for someone else on a dummy. But, I mean, you raise a point there. I'll counter your point there with the fact, though, that Guild Wars 1 had place for a lot of more specialized builds. So I don't know whether that's really a fair comparison. I'm sorry, but anyone who's that opposed to DPS meters is a narrow-minded and childish. Well, we don't have to name-call people. I've never seen someone bullied or kicked because of low DPS, and I've had Dragon Hunters with lower DPS than support Tempest in my pugs. Well, I don't want to get too deep into that mess, basically. That's the whole start of this talk. I don't want to get too deep into the mess. But what I will say is I see that they can be a force for good, and I think that should be appreciated, you know. I think that the more people are informed about the fact, oh yeah, a chrono DPS is more comfortably doing doing this amount of damage than some of these other supposedly meta builds. I think the more people see that, the more the community will have a chance to grow, to mature, or whatever. I don't want to say mature. I don't want to suggest that Guild Wars 2 currently is immature because it doesn't have room for the middle ground. But I think it's a development that needs to happen. I'll put it that way. I think it would be progress. I think as great as they are, and again, I never want to disparage them, ever. And I never want to make out like I don't appreciate them. I don't want to do any of that. But as great as QT are, I long for the world where people ignore the likes of QT and their benchmarks and stuff, because it's not relevant. It's not relevant to you most of the time. And so, you know, and again, that's not because I dislike them or I want them to go away or anything like that. And, you know, thank fuck we've got something. And I really value all that hard work. But just sort of an on-paper world, you know, I think if the community was looking up to a different group, the group that was, you know, orienting their theory craft around mediocrity rather than exceptionality, in that world, I think we'd all be doing a lot better. And as well, it would help the devs as well to tune the encounters a bit better also. I think the problem with that is toxic people were toxic without or with or without DPS meters. I think that that's not a very good argument, because just because something can be bad, it doesn't mean you should exacerbate it by, you know, throwing DPS meters in there, right? I don't think that argument goes the whole way. You like my potato? Thanks very much. It's not even my potato. It's a fan potato. Remad HD. Oh, why have I moved us into this? I've got to be honest. I'm a bit bored of all this. I spent too many years talking about this stuff. Does anyone have a different topic, maybe? I know that I drive this, and I've brought it upon us all. And we've all now got our heads whirling, and we're thinking about different things. If anyone has a different topic, feel free to throw it at me, though. I think I'm getting a bit weighed down by talking about the same things over and over again. Not sure the respawn times are the same for EU, but the race is starting on NA. Oh, cool. Okay. I'm still a bit concerned because we don't have an NPC next to us. But I will wait. Q says, I thought you wanted to talk Halloween. I do, but we're not there yet. And I want to do these races. See, I'm in a weird position as well, because once we're doing this race, because God, sunk cost fallacy, whatever. I want to do this race now. We spend enough time waiting for it. But then there's the other race, and there's like a weird question. I'm wondering if I need to go to the other race. What if it might just be starting in the perfect time and it'll be really good? Oh, but then what if we have to wait another half an hour? And then, oh God, I don't know. Heartlass says the end bosses for story should be raid bosses like Morty and Balthazar. Listen, that is not going to happen. That is not Guild Wars. That would not be allowed to happen by the majority of Guild Wars players. I would kind of enjoy it, but it's not this game. And, you know, even I can appreciate that they won't do that. Now, in a perfect world, they could have a nightmare moat. Like they had with the Morgemoth fight. A 10-man nightmare moat. That would be cool for the final boss. And that would be cool to go back and put that on Zaitan or something as well. And that could be a raid encounter. But, you know, we don't live in that world. We live in a world of restriction. And we've seen from Path of Fire that they didn't do that. That's one of those little things. I got like a small list, maybe 6 or 7 things that if you look very closely, you'll realize Path of Fire didn't do. And it's kind of like, okay, so because they did it for Heartthorns, but they didn't do it this time, what does that mean? I guess we're never getting it again, kind of thing. And I sort of, I'm a bit sad we never got a Nightmare moat. Because that was a good idea. It was just, you know, in a buggy instance, blah, blah, blah. But it was a good idea. If they ever go back and fix this fundamental issue with achievement points being so, like, ephemeral and, you know, you do it once and that's it. If they ever fix that at its core, stuff like that Nightmare moat suddenly offers so much value to the game. Do the Griffin adventure till the race is up? No, we've done all the Griffin adventures and I'm not going to risk leaving. Here we go! Talk to the race organizer to sign up for the race. Remain in the starting area until the race begins to avoid being disqualified. Sign me up, baby. 5 minutes, guys. We still have some slots in the squad. Finally, we're here. Okay, cool. I've never done this. And I hope I don't need first, second, or third place to get the achievement for this. If it turns out I do, I'm not doing the other one because I'm not going to get in a Zerg. I'm not, you know, I'm not arrogant enough to think I'm going to beat over 30 people. How can you join the squads? I've mentioned that several times on this stream. Maybe someone can help you out in chat there, buddy. Oh, no, I can help you out. Why am I saying that? Look, it's /squad join space LYS. That's all you got to do. You just type that in chat. I think Guild Wars 2 is definitely the more high-quality game compared to Guild Wars 1. I think there's a lot more quality and design that's gone into Guild Wars 2 development than Guild Wars 1. Oh, absolutely. I agree completely, too. I agree. Even if Guild Wars 1's player base was a bit different with how it looked at builds and things, I think that Guild Wars 2 is clearly the superior product in a million different ways. And I know that there's someone out there who's sniggering at me saying that and being like, how can he possibly be like that? But it's kind of ridiculous to suggest otherwise. The only discussion you can possibly have is, was Guild Wars 1 in 2006 better than Guild Wars 2 is in 2017, right? Like, you have to compare it within its own time frame. That is not an offhanded discussion that anyone, unless you post me an article of lots of different factors you've put into it and blah, 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 and it's something you've really researched, I'm not going to take anyone's opinion seriously about it. But that would be very interesting to think about. I certainly am not in a place where I can answer that, I don't think. Any plans on coming on Tea Time? I would like to see you talk with Doror about lore and his theories. I went on to one Tea Time. T-Point invited me back a few weeks later, but I said no, it was too soon, and I had other stuff going on. I might do another one. I don't know. I'm not really that interested right now, but maybe. So there, again, Knight, he just says, completely unsubstantiated. Guild Wars 1 was way better in its year than Guild Wars 2 is now. You know, there are actual metrics we can look at. If you guys have ever looked at Google Trends, it's amazing. You can go Google Trends and you can graph how much the term Guild Wars was queried for its day and age versus Guild Wars 2 and how much that was queried. And you can sort of compare the peak popularity based on Googling, which is an okay metric. And you can see like how much they were both looked at. And then you can compare the both of them to World of Warcraft, for example. And you can see how the MMO genre in general has risen and fallen and how much of a share Guild Wars has had compared to the rest and so on. It's been good. Yeah, Sumringan says WP too shy for tea time. There's a bit of that, definitely. I think people have like expectations of me and things that I don't know whether I'd ever meet. Like it happens to me sometimes randomly when I'll be in Discord and someone will meet me and they'll like ask me like a weird lore, like they'll quiz me on stuff. And then they'll be like, oh, I would have thought you'd know the answer to that. And it's like, I've never claimed to be a walking wiki. Anyway. So, WP, what is your opinion if Engineer obtained an electric barrier theme, support utility elite spec? What weapon do you think it would get used? Wow, that's a very specific question. Focus? If it's going to be like Magitech support? And electricity and stuff, maybe? Remember when Guild Wars 1 didn't have a jump button? Now everyone was on their cases for years about that. Now Guild Wars 2 is out and probably has the most advanced movement in MMOs with its mount system. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I was talking in a recent stream about how one of the big things about Guild Wars 1 that most people forget now, but that was like a defining feature of this franchise, was its graphical capability compared to its competitors. It was a beautiful game. It was more beautiful than its competitors for its time. That's not a trait we associate with Guild Wars anymore. We don't call it a beautiful MMO amongst others. We call it outdated, if anything, amongst others. And that's a shame, because I think, you know, in terms of art direction and environment and blah, 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 it is astounding. But in terms of its technical capabilities, people do rag on it. So we don't think about that anymore. But that was sort of perk of Guild Wars 1. And what you said is kind of similar as well. Guild Wars 1 was better in its day because of how different it was. It gets called very progressive quite often as well, right? I'm going to skimmer this because... oh, God. Oh, we've got the lag problem anyway, so... I wonder how many people got screwed by this. Oh, do you know what? I've forgotten how to use the goddamn thing. Oh, this is actually awful. We've got the lag. This needs to be fixed, ArenaNet. Path of Fire's been out for a month. Why you punish? Why? Why you punish us for playing in large group? Why? There, finally, we got it. Ding, 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 baby. Let's go. All right, that's the next one. Oof, we absolutely got annihilated. I know I could use my special action there to... not special action. My movement ability. Oh, God, I accidentally changed to Griffin. This is a bit awkward. Oh, this one lagged as well. Come on. Give it to me, baby. Come on. What are you doing? There we go. I'm going to go through that portal and hope it takes me somewhere useful. It did. Oh, that was hot stuff. Okay, good. Oh, that guy's got his Griffin died. Really cool. Okay, we're slowly getting it now. It's a weird gate. Oh, come on. There we go. Sand portals are weird because, you know, that sand portal, why it takes you where it takes you, might not make any sense until you're in the race. It's the same with, like, the Griffin adventures and stuff. Some of these portals might be positioned just for a certain adventure or piece of content that players won't really recognize. I wonder if this is Jackal-based or what. This is a really interesting one, though, because there's a... Here we go. Oh, it didn't work. I mean, we're getting high, so I'm going to try. I mean, the problem is, what if I lag? Please no lag. Oh, I hit the ground anyway. Whatever. Whatever. We're obviously not going to be coming top 3. No one's finished so far. Let's go Jackal again. Yeah, I'm getting used to the new radial system, guys. It will work. God, I feel the pull to start talking about mount binds again. My goodness. Go. Go. Yeah, there you go. So some people have gone to trends. Don't forget, though, that when Guild Wars 2 is being queried, it also sort of contains the Guild Wars 1 queries. Amazingly, there's Guild Wars 2 queries right when the first game came out. Like, immediately when the first game came out, people started querying, oh, is there going to be a sequel? You see, like, an early spike for it. Which I've always found quite interesting. Hey, we didn't do too bad. Came 12th place, and we did get an achievement. Nice. Cool, cool, cool. So the race ends in 1 minute. Gux stream says, good evening, moneybags in chat. What? If you've just arrived at the stream, why did you call me that? Couple of days ago, I linked you on Twitter an old video from your archive where you talked about mounts in Guild Wars 2 some days before launch. Hopefully you saw it. It was really cool to look back at. I don't think I did see it. I don't think I clicked it. I probably saw the tweet. And hopefully I responded to it as well. I tried to respond to all my tweets. I've been a bit bad with it lately, but not too bad. But I doubt I watched my old thing. It usually actually takes quite a bit of emotional sort of mental exertion to get myself to look at the old stuff, because I'm always scared I'm just going to say something that I hate, or I don't know. Sometimes I impress myself in the past. I'm like, wow, what happened to my vocabulary? What are all these amazing words? The lag make this impossible? Yeah, it does suck a bit, doesn't it? Oh, you does. I didn't respond. I'm so sorry, Fiskin Hero. Well, here I am now. Here I am now. Hey WP, what are your thoughts on the Guild Wars 1 skins that would be perfect as rewards in game that have instead been used as Black Lion Trading Company drops? Stuff like Elemental Sword for Path of Fire, or Chaos weapons for when we eventually get to Underworld Foe, or Jade Zodiac weapons for Cantho, etc. Don't really care, to be honest. It's cool that they came back into Guild Wars 2. I think the fact that they were once upon a time Guild Wars 1 skins, yes, opens like that option for critics to sneer at it and say, oh, look at how gaming has changed. But just because it was a Guild Wars 1 earnable skin doesn't, to me, actually mean it should be off the table for a gem store thing. And if they want to monetize your nostalgia, then let the market speak, I feel, on that one. And it has. You might be able to catch me in previous streams and things talking a bit more grumpily about it, but that's how I feel right now. Right, so all we've got left is the Vabi race, I believe. Let me just check here. So we're going to go achievements. We're going to go Path of Fire, Crystal Desert, which is sort of the general one. Track record. Yeah, the domain of Vabi race. I don't know where it starts. I think I've seen the start of it. Is it where the story one is? I'm going to need the advice from chat here. Do I have a dad body? I'm not actually sure what a dad bod is. I don't have like... Is a dad bod where you're like generally quite skinny, but you've got like a really round, protruding gut? Is that it? I don't really have that going on. So no. Or is a dad? What is a dad bod specifically? It's at the Vitendi Arena. Okay. So I'll start at this waypoint, southwest of the giant floating blue thing. Oh, we saw this on yesterday's stream, didn't we? While we were in the middle of the adventure, right? In my opinion, it was because the skill system was superior in Guild Wars 1. You could do far more than in Guild Wars 2 in terms of customizing your build, how your character plays. Yes, like in Guild Wars 2, there were most optimal builds for each encounter mission. But there were tens of other builds that you... where is this? Sorry. That were good and playable. I remember playing a Mesmer Assassin in Underworld, a non-meta Underworld speed clear build, which, surprising to others, was just as good as AE. With that said, a skill system was also a bit more complex, and you could often encounter people with very... See, I mean, what you just typed there, I've heard 1,000 times before, and I disagree with, actually. I think that the answer to this is actually a lot more complicated than saying that. In terms of raw numbers and things, it's just not true. Like... If we imagine we're on a weapon swapping capable class, okay, we look at these left 5 skills, and the naysayers will say, oh, there's no customization here. But there is. There's main hand, off hand. Even if we say, oh, we have two-handed, we're a handbow warrior, yeah. Even if we say that, that's still technically 2 slots. So we're 2 out of 8 already, looking at the left. Then we've got 5 over here. Which puts us to 7 of the 8. Sorry, 4 over here, which puts us... Yeah, no, 5 over here, which puts us to 7 of the 8. That doesn't consider profession mechanics, which are all purely customizable. That doesn't count the fact, like, a lot of these places in Guild Wars 1, you think you had skill diversity and build diversity, but you didn't. You had to sacrifice slots for essentials like energy management, or if you were an RA, like a Red Sig and stuff. That doesn't consider stuff like skill chains that exist in Guild Wars 2 that didn't exist in Guild Wars 1. And also, you got to take a broader picture of playstyle difference. There was very little playstyle difference in very much of the Guild Wars 1 stuff. The difference between playing a Paragon Spear Chucker versus a, you know, any other backline caster was not that different. It wasn't. You were standing there watching projectiles fly out from your character and occasionally executing skills that routed you to the spot, and, you know, either they did something beneficial to your team or they injured your opponents, but the play style itself was generally always very similar. There's a lot of diversity in Guild Wars 2 in terms of how a lot of those things feel, in my opinion. And what I just gave there was a very base argument that could be critiqued the hell out of. But again, I've had this conversation 1,000 times. People are welcome to do it. I would have answers to each thing. I think that... I think the most convincing thing to me is why people feel this way, why people have this opinion, which I think is an incorrect opinion. I think the reason for it is how people were forced to think about buildcraft in Guild Wars 1 based on the difficulty of the games, the accessibility of them, the tutorialization of them. And I think that Guild Wars 1 was not more complicated, it was more simplistic. A couple of attribute lines, 8 skills... Yeah, you had energy management. Yeah, you had damage types. Yeah, you had body blocking. Yeah, there was a lot of layers, but at a surface level, buildcraft was, you know, it was pretty cut and dry right there. And I think that I think that's the main thing. I think it was Guild Wars 2. I can put on 2 daggers and never focus on buildcraft until Zaitan's dead at my feet, Morjamov's dead at my feet, Balthazar's dead at my feet, and everything in between. I never have to care about it. I just don't. Because the game's not a challenge on any level. And I think that more than anything, I think that's what convinces me most about why people have these misconceptions about the quality of the 2 games and why they... I'm not calling people liars. When people say, oh, Guild Wars 1 buildcraft was better and, oh, I enjoyed playing Guild Wars 1... No, they believe it. These people enjoyed Guild Wars 1 buildcraft. They enjoyed messing with those skills. They, you know, and I did too. They enjoyed putting a superior rune on, or 2 superior runes, or learning that minor runes were probably a bit better and hoarding those juicy hit points, and that they enjoyed that stuff. They enjoyed running, you know, opening the world of consumables because Easter was going on, and oh look, I just got an egg, a lucky egg that bumps everything by 1 attribute point, and oh, I can combine that with this Elementalist Elite, and look, I now have 19 fire magic. How cool is this? People enjoyed that. They remember that fondly, and they're not liars for remembering it fondly. But it is not a consequence of Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2's actual buildcraft being dumber or more simplistic, or the game... Or any kind of mathematical thing, oh, we have less skills, it's because, you know, it's the weapon system. It's none of that. I actually think the most convincing argument is this other stuff about the way the buildcraft was presented in Guild Wars 1. And it was a more sort of essential core component of the experience. I think that's the truth behind it. That's why people feel this difference. It's illusory. It's not real. Anyway. I'm a person that pays attention to meta and designs his own builds based on what I like and what I need. The Eater of Souls legitimately forced my roommate to play with buildcraft. I mean, the Eater of Souls wasn't good either, though. Like, the answer is not now to slap in a random tough boss, especially if you feel like it's a cheesy thing. That's not the answer. It's like it's like you've got to go back to where the seeds are planted. You've got to you've got to go back to the personal story. I'm sorry to keep going on about it, but you have to. You have to go back to that shit. And you have to teach people when they're young, when they're starting out. Oh, put some Condi Cleanse on. This is what Condi Cleanse does. This is what a combo field does. You need to use this combo field to kill this foe with lifesteal, because that is the only way you can penetrate his defenses. You need to equip CCs to break this guy's break bar, or you cannot kill him. Then later you can have a boss that, oh, you need to do this to stop him nuking you. And, you know, you need to go back, like, way back. And for what it's worth, I think sigils and runes need a bit of a change as well. You can't just throw it in now with Balthazar. People just get annoyed now. You can't just put Immobilize on Risen in Ore. I mean, that much was proven ages ago, right? I see you're playing Tempest. Sorry, what's this? But not Weaver. Is it because of the Horn or the Overloads, or Weaver is just not your style? I played tons of Weaver when this came out. Loads. My first playthrough of most of Path of Fire was lots of hours on Weaver. And yeah, it just didn't have the quality of life. I'm at the point now where the shininess is worn off. And it's not that I hate Weaver. It's not that Weaver's terrible, blah, blah, blah. But for my second Ellie playthrough, which is what this is, really, this character. For my second Ellie playthrough, I just wanted something that would be as comfortable as possible. So I'm running an open world build. I hate to be a sneering jerk, but there's a website up at the moment for supposedly open world builds, which I love the idea of, and it's more of like, hey, yeah, let's get this middle ground going and stuff that we were talking about earlier. It's really cool. I don't know if you guys saw it, but god damn, what the Ellie builds on that are not open world Ellie builds. The Ellie builds on that are like, it's a glass staff raiding berserker Ellie build with strength runes and a sigil of and a sigil that also gives might, a sigil of strength, right? It's like, that's not an open world Ellie build. What? Because you got a bit more might, so you can hold a bit more might on yourself. Yes, I appreciate that is a worthwhile thing to think about in an open world. That's a crap open world build though. Jesus Christ, no, way too glassy, absolutely ludicrous. I didn't see a single convincing open world Ellie build there. They basically just took raid builds and swapped the runes in a single sigil. Ludicrous. Anyway, I'm being a bit judgy there. That was a good little bounty right there because it gave us time as this race begins. So I'm gonna use the Griffin a bit more on this one. Why no in-game sound? There's a lot of in-game sound. Well, there should be. Let's see here. I've been running Renegade in open world. I'm not sure if it's fun or not anymore since I didn't play anything else since POF went live. Well, if it's fun to you, it's fun to you. What's the difference? AK Fastback says, what's the website? You can check it out on Reddit. And again, I love the idea of the website and I love what they're pushing for and I think they're bang on point. I think it's all excellent. And maybe we shouldn't be surprised that on the first bunch of builds that get added there, they're going to be a bit inspiration-less and, you know, not very well vetted and stuff. But yeah, we'll see how it goes over. I turned the sound up a bit more. Is it explained in Guild Wars 2 why Joko is as powerful as he is? No, but I think they've hinted that Season 4 is going to start dealing more with his backstory as perhaps one of the primeval kings, and perhaps somebody even suggested that you might have been an orchestrator in the Scarab Plague of the downfall of the Twin Queens. I think that could all be quite fun. Zelek says stacking might for open world bosses is good though. Yeah, it is. I agree. And I like that they put that on there. And I like the sigil swap as well. But there's a lot more they could have done. Like, it's just inspirationless, that's all. I'm going to take it really chill. We're going to do it on the Griffin. This is nice to see. No lag. This is good. Oh, we're in quicksand. Oh, I'm a moron. Oh my god, and everyone's getting owned. I was looking at chat. I was reading chat, and then I look back and I'm dead and stuff. Jesus. Joko was the first Scourge. Here we go. Oh, just about caught that bad boy. We might be able to rally. If all of us attack this shark, we might be able to rally. Go on, assist the stalker. Boy, I hope this guy has the arcane trait on. Why did he just air 3? I'm happy to see people understand that just play your fractal build in open world is not always the best idea. Yeah, I mean, again, I love what the website stands for. I think it's really good. I was just disappointed in that they didn't really practice what they preached whatsoever on that initial slew anyway. We dipped into the brand for a brief moment there, which was obviously not ideal. All right, let's go. Stopped in at home from work. Don't forget to do the guild upgrade for the workshop. Thanks, Maestron. We've obviously got a bit longer on the stream, but the reminder is appreciated. Yeah, I thought... yeah, so someone just said in the Elite Spec trailer, they said Scourge wasn't created to oppose Joko. Yeah, I thought I remembered that as well. I remember the connection between the two. So yeah, I'm glad someone said that. This is interesting because they've done a lot more gates on this one. What is that special action? Whoa! Oh, look at that. That's fancy. I was using the wrong button. This entire time I've been using the wrong button. Hold on. Wait. That's what playing the Griffin has done to me. Where's the next one? Oh, no. Oh, this is really cool. This is my favorite race so far. This is nice. What's this called? Warp. Okay. Man. I mean, obviously, we're not going to get anywhere near the win on this. So this would be, I guess, Griffin designed? Skimmer's just very comfortable, though, obviously. Gonna have to go back through when none of you guys are here that are going to beat me and do some baby mode races for myself so that I can win. Oh, okay. This is interesting because this genuinely feels now like that's what would we use if not the Griffin there? The Raptor perhaps? The Raptor mayhaps? All right. Lag on these ones would be pretty awful. No? Come on. I made that. That's annoying. Totally made that. There we go. This is a really cool race. Sorry, guys. The discussion is going to suffer here as I swoon over the game. Plus, I'm a little concerned that I won't even make it before the timer runs out. Oh, you dicks. Come on, man. There we go. I'm regretting having turned the music down now as well. It's getting eerily, like, creepily quiet. But there should be fun music for us. Oh, this is nice. Sort of. Yeah. I wonder if Skimmer can make that. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, track record complete. Complete each race in the Crystal Oasis, the Desert Highlands, the Ellen Riverlands, the Desolation, and the Domain of Vabi. Guys, I'm really happy that you all came in the squad there. That was super fun, and I like that we've had some actual legitimate races there. We came 12th again. Didn't we come 12th in both races? That was nice, man. So, this is my first Halloween event. Do you mind summing up what there is to offer? I tried the tower thing, but I suck at jumping puzzles, so no thanks on that. But I couldn't understand the PvP thing. Well, so the PvP thing is like, have you ever played like a zombies game type? You're supposed to run and hide, and the ghosts are running around, and if you die to them, you join their team. I think that's the way that it works. I haven't played that for a long time. I'm not the best at Halloween, because I'm forgetting it. This stream is actually me learning it. The title of this stream is basically, I'm going to get on my knees and beg you all to teach me about the new fun things. So that's what you're about to watch. You saw the speculation thread about episode 1 of season 4 on Reddit, where OP says that the new map will be in the Bazda Wilderness and is about fighting 4 of Kralkatoric's lieutenants, and the new raid is under the moor. You say, no, I didn't see that thread. You've got that in quotes, so I'm guessing that what this actually is it's a leak, is it? How to make points as a human in the zombie game? I can't remember. Sorry, reposting this. That's okay. You can post multiple times. I haven't seen a good opportunity to ask this, but about Season 4's mastery line, wouldn't it make more sense, talking about development time for Arena, to just give a single mount a mastery per episode? Creating a new mount with a new type of movement, etc. seems like a huge task with the options we got. Reason to use it balanced, not to get overpowered compared to the other mounts. Absolutely, I'm with you 100%. I would have believed that anyone would think otherwise is insane. Yes, that's what I think will happen. I know that with Path of Fire itself, where each new map represented a new mount. So this was a mount, this was a mount, this was a mount, this was a mount. But does that mean that for the next 2 years, when they add a new map every 2 to 3 months, we're going to get a new mount every time? Another new mount, another new mount, another new mount, another new mount, another new mount. Let's be, you know, adult for a second. That's not going to happen. That's insane. So yeah, what I actually think is going to happen is we'll get a new mount, but that one mount we will form an attachment with and live and grow with and get a new mastery for it, a new capability for it each time. This is a one mount. I see space, though, for a second addition to the roster with the raid as well, which also we could get better and better and better with as time goes forward. There are some curiosities with that, though, such as, do they then let you pull that mount out of the raid? Because it would just be that one raid that would be relevant for, right? Or do people get annoyed then? Oh, you're forcing me to raid in order to get a mount. Is that whinging something that should be listened to? You know, how bad would that be? Blah, blah, blah. So there's all those kind of questions going on as well with that. Reg says, how does that work with people who don't have all the episodes? I don't know. How did they solve that with this previous season? Because that was all ancient magics. If I hadn't played any of the earlier episodes, could I skip to get the fire thing? How did that work? Does it mean if I quit Path of Fire, if I'm watching Wooden Potatoes right now, I'm this guy here in chat, Wildcaz Tego Strimmer. Hey, this guy, he doesn't actually like Path of Fire that much. He's gonna quit after this stream. Wildcaz Tego Strimmer, who's excited about the Spider-Man, he's gonna quit. He's gone. He's never gonna look at Guild Wars again. He's turning it off. We're scaring him away. However, 2 years from now, he does come back. He logs in. It's the last episode of Season 4. When he comes back, does he just get the full mount and get to train it the full way, despite not having played the previous maps? Is that how they did it in Season 3? I don't really know. Listen, this is all amazing, but let's go do some Halloween, shall we? Now, chat, what do I do? What do we want to do? Do we want to do the new race? Let's do the new race. Let's at least do that. I want to do some new stuff. So let's go do that. Apparently it exists in the labyrinth, so I will just try it. Everyone in the squad, come along with me. Let's do it. It's kind of like the race in the labyrinth. If you haven't got Path of Fire, you run it on foot. So I think it's just a way to get people to want to buy the expansions. Well, the mastery system is nothing if it's not providing gates. I think that's a hideous proposal to suggest that all the way through Season 4, there must always be an on-foot method of bypassing the capabilities that the mounts give you. I think is gross. I think it's such a, like, slap in the face to whatever this abomination is right here. I think that's terrible. I don't know whether that's exactly what you were suggesting, but God. Why have the mastery system in the first place if they're going to end up resorting to that? I mean, obviously it should be there to make people want to buy the expansion. I don't know why we'd ever listen to people that are just trying to wriggle out of that, you know? At some point, surely we want to give the game developer its due. At some point. WP is one of the biggest fans of the mastery system. I know, it's only got worse, hasn't it, over time. I'm sure some people were like, oh, he's got smart opinions about it once, and now they just think that I'm a frothing lunatic because all I do is whinge about it. But I swear, guys, it's not a sudden wake up and hate it based on nothing. It's been little bricks on a wall that keeps growing and growing and growing. Alright, so I guess let's fly down. Oh man, this is pretty hype. Does this work? Can I just chill out? Oh, invisible walls, arena net. Oh, I kind of want to dive bomb them there. So where does this race start? In the center? Man, these guys don't even look that big anymore. That's weird to think about. I mean, they do look big. But not quite as titanic as my memory would have me believe. I'm not seeing the Season 4 speculation thread. Maybe if it was deleted, it could have been a very real leak. And now I feel a little bit bad talking about it. Or maybe it was just deleted because it was overly speculative. I don't know. Can you sit on the Mad King's head? It looked like he was behind an invisible wall there. Sad that this race forces the add-on on me so harshly. Does it really? Or is that sarcasm? What are we saying here, though? Where does it start? Not being too helpful here, chat. This is an interesting experience in the labyrinth. One I've not had before. I never would have guessed that this is what I'd be looking at on my monitor last year. Can you join someone else's map? Your one is full. Alright, okay. I'll come down here and then I will join... No, I won't because I got in combat the second I landed. And they blocked for a horrendous length of time. Alright, I'm going to join on this map and hope that it's less full. So you guys can join on me now. I'm in squad group 2. So everybody join on. There are some players here, but not too many. Just FYI, the Labyrinth player cap is only 25 now. Oh. And we've got 33 in squad, so... Oh, that would explain why LFG is so insane. That's kind of nice, though, actually. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but LFG for Labyrinth is bonkers. Look at this. I've never, ever... You know, earlier on the stream, I said, oh, Guild Wars 2's in its prime. It's in its heyday. There might have been a few of you out there that thought, oh, no, he's, you know, this game isn't all that. It's not in its heyday. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I'm telling you, you know, I don't say this stuff based on nothing. This is insane. I've never seen LFG like this. There are so many. And they're not like all empty little things of people saying, please. You know, this is 38 people, 31 people, 24 people, 27 people, 28, 31, 31, 32, 26, 27, 24. I've never seen this many people in an LFG category. Not by a long way. And this is just the Labyrinth. There's obviously a lot more to the game. So yeah, it's nice. It's a good time, guys, to get into sort of Guild Wars 2 content creation and build an audience and so on and so forth. Starts in the center. There will be an announcement and then there will be some NPCs. Oh, okay. So we can just kill these mobs and things, can we, in the meantime? It looks like not many people can get in on this one anyway. How do I get into an empty map? How do we accomplish that? So I suppose Path of Fire really has brought more people to Guild Wars 2. Not just returning old players, but new ones. Yeah, I think that it has brought new people as well. Game is alive, PogChamp. I know, it's cool, isn't it? Has it always had a 25 player limit? That would be even better if it has always had a 25 player limit. Because maybe the reason that looks so spammed is because, like, there's double the amount of instances because... And I mean, that's not even all the instances. There'll be a lot of commanders and things in farm maps that aren't on LFG either. Because they filled up a while ago and they don't need to be there anymore. But maybe there's a chance that if it's always been 25 and it didn't look like this last year, I mean, that shows a lot, right? Use your ArenaNet hacks to get a new map. I don't have ArenaNet hacks. I know that that is actually something the devs can do. I'm pretty sure that they can spin up instances and stuff. Or maybe mods. But I've never spoken to a mod in my time playing this game. At least I don't think I have. I guess we'll just follow this mentor. If you are current... Let me ask you this, Twitch. We can do this. Community. It's going to be good. If you are currently in the Labyrinth, and there's no mentor, and there's no commander, whisper me in-game. I'm appearing online. You can do it very easily. 3 letters, LYS. That's all you got to do. So whisper me, saying my map has nothing in it, right? If you have no commander and no mentor, because that would mean hopefully it's a new, fresh one, and we can get all of our people in, or nearly all of our people in. Yeah? Should be a guildy ability to spawn a new instance. You're damn right it could be. That would be a good thing for guild popping stuff. So I got one message from someone saying no one's on my map but a few AFK people. Someone else said there's nothing on my map at all. So we'll go with Crumbles. I hope he's in squad. He is. All right, joining on. Am I a follower of the Scarlet Return in Season 4 theory? No, I haven't read that. There's a thread on the Wooden Potatoes subreddit talking about that I haven't properly read. In my gut, I don't think it can be right. But, yeah. All right, so join on, guys. And hopefully we can fill with more people on this one. Someone said that one is full too. All right, so whisper me again, guys. Apparently this one is also full and people are not happy with it. I just got nuked by a chain greatsword. That was ridiculous. How dare your build's so good, Wooden Potatoes. Thanks for telling me to look at those Ellie builds, WP. Now I'm sitting here confused. Why would you take Overload Auras over Auto Stun Break when you have 0 Aura Synergy? Because I do have Aura Synergy. I have Auras healing me. And I have Auras... Are you talking about my build right now? Or are you talking about their build? The open world Ellie build... And this is not about me... I deliberately didn't talk about this earlier. This is not me saying, oh, I've got a better build. I'm so much better than them. That's not what I want this to be. But personally, I'm running that trait because I do have Aura Synergy. I have Fury. I have Swiftness on Aura. Both are things. Even with mounts, I like the Swiftness. But Fury especially. Perma Fury is very nice. Now, you can get Perma Fury anyway from Persisting Flames, which their build was running, but I don't think it's necessary. Quality of life, it's not. And I have protection as well on Aura. So I have quite a lot of Aura Synergy on my specific one. You live for WP Nerd Voice. Did I just do the Nerd Voice? Oh yeah, but I was doing it about myself, right? So it's okay. It was an impression of myself. So it's alright. It's not gonna offend anyone. God, I get scared now. I get scared. I'm all flinchy. It's like I've been abused. And to be scared of not ticking the wrong people off. Emerald Al Aswad says mine is empty. I recognize your name. I'll try and join on you after the horror dies, I guess. Can you recommend an Ellie build? No, I can't, because you never specified what for. I'm offended, said Beta Ace. Well, WP, please put a spook warning on stream. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What else do I need to do, guys? Please, I don't want to offend anyone. Please, what else can I do? What else have I done that offends people? I promise I'll never do it again. Please love me. This is a safe space for everyone. I swear it's safe. It's safe. No offense. No offense. No offense. I promise. All right, try joining on me now, guys. Do you think it's okay that it takes the devs 9 months to release a new raid? Sure, why not? I think it's a bit on the long side, definitely, but I think the gap between Wing 4 and 5 is a little bit different to the gap between the other raid releases, and that's because there was an expansion between them, and I think that they've got some other things to think about in terms of masteries, in terms of mounts, in terms of what Path of Fire brought to the table, in terms of the new elite specializations and what they brought, and how they can design encounters that specifically work well with them. Stuff like that. So I think that it's a bit more forgivable. I mean, obviously, I'd like more. More content is better. More. I'm always going to ask for more. You know, even in Living World Season 1, where we were getting big releases every 2 weeks, I wasn't sitting there. This one seems even more full. Can you guys, like, not whisper me and tell me it's empty when it's not empty? Because this is, like, not on. A lot of people are, you know, they're in, and then, unfortunately. Iraniel says, I'm pretty sure we won't get an empty map like this. Yeah, I don't know. What tactic can we use? The only tactic I used to know for Blood-Tide Coast and stuff during the old Triple Trouble days was, like, waiting for ages on, like, a totally dead map. So are raids your favorite feature the Hearthorns introduced to the game? I think on balance, yeah. Yeah, I think raids really did it for me. I think the raids, well, not just me, but I think in terms of, like, from a lot of different perspectives, in terms of, like, what good it did for the scene, right? I think it was all very good. Hey, what armor stat would you recommend for an open world Renegade Condi build other than Vipers? Currently running toughness, Condi damage, and precision, but wanted to know if there's something better. Also, trying to save gold for Runes of Tormenting. What is better to you? Are you dying a lot? If you want more damage, you could run Sinister. That's not Vipers, and it's also alright for thingy. But I mean, Renegade doesn't need too much precision, does it? Does it? I don't really know. Just obviously don't go over 100% crit, if you can help it. If you're dying a lot, though, you can run something like Dyers instead. I don't know, there's a lot of interesting Condi choices. You can go to Wiki and just look at the stats select combo that appeals to you most. Someone says mine has a map, has the race, but it's not empty. Someone else says this is a map that you've left before from earlier, and there's no tags at all here. Well, there's no tags on my one currently, but so I don't know. Maybe we should just leave it. Listen, I'm just gonna leave it, guys, and let people slowly filter in on this. How many times have we killed this horror now? I regret promising tattooing a Wood Potatoes logo on my body. No spooky warning. I'm sorry. I think right at the end of yesterday's stream, someone was talking about naming their kid after a potato, which is a very high honor. But I missed their message fully. How's Grievers been for open world Condi builds? I believe grieving is the best way to run sword on a Weaver in the open world. Cairo says, do you think that one raid wing a year is enough or not? How many raid releases would you like to have had? All right, so what you're actually asking me is what's realistic but that you'd like? I don't know. I think like one every 3 months would be cool. I think that there is a point where if a raid release comes too slow, you find statics dissolving. But if they come just quick enough, statics can sustain themselves. And so what you want to do is you want a raid release that's always in that window of opportunity, right? You know, like, so let's say you're in a really weak raiding team, yeah? And people are getting inconsistent come in and so on, and you're starting to have to get these LFG fills and stuff. If that team knows that a new wing is about to release, they're going to start putting effort in, right? And they're going to stick together and they'll be more cohesive. They'll be stronger because they want to be ready for the new release. And so these teams stay together. So the more frequently you get raid releases out, the stronger those communities are. And the more frequently you can do it, if you can get some regularity as well, then it can become, you know, even better where people like have an expectation and they'll know. So like, and I think that you can hit that window every 2 to 3 months. I think that's really good. But that window grows as well, I think, the more content already exists. Like, in a weird way, the more raids that they put in the game, the more time they can spend working on other ones. And I know that that's not a nice thing to consider or realize, but it's kind of true, because if you're in a really casual raiding group and you only do like 2 wings a week, but let's say there's 10 wings in the game, you can keep things pretty fresh, because you can be like, oh, let's go do Wing 7. I haven't done Wing 7 since 2018. Let's go do Wing 7. Yeah, that's cool, man. And then maybe you get a bit bored of that and you'll be like, do you know what? Let's go old school. Let's go back to the Spirit Vale. Let's do that. We haven't done that for ages. And then and so, you know, you can spend a year waiting for a new release, but because there's so many wings and so many encounters, maybe there's a lot for you to thrive on. And that's the beautiful thing about Guild Wars 2, that so few other MMOs will ever really taste that sweet nectar of. Because they're not pushing the gear cap. They're not pushing the level cap. As long as balance-influenced power creep is addressed, which currently it has not been addressed, as long as they start doing that, Guild Wars 2 can reap those rewards. You know, it's kind of a really hilarious thing to realize, but Guild Wars has built itself. Everything. It lives and breathes. It will not stop screaming in your face. It defines itself based on this idea that we don't invalidate old content. We have a level cap and we never go away from it. And that's, you know, that's a core philosophy to our franchise. We will never move away from it. And it's kind of amazing to realize that unless the balance team or raid team or whatever start accounting for balance-based power creep, none of it matters. I tried really hard not to swear there. Imagine that I swore, all right? None of it matters. Because if even though you're not pushing up to level 90 and stuff, people are no updraft 3-man Gorseval in a year because, you know, 60k DPS is the average benchmark unsupported or some shit. It doesn't matter, does it? It's the same result. You've invalidated that old stuff, so they need to do that. That's a very important step that without doing, they kind of betray what Guild Wars is all about. And that's not something they should take lightly or overlook. I don't know whether they've had a meeting and realized that, but it's kind of weird to think about, don't you guys think? Yeah, someone said that argument hit the dumpster when they power creep dungeons. Yeah, like the addition of break bars to dungeons was handled far too flippantly. To do that is to betray Guild Wars 2. To turn dungeons into what they are is to betray Guild Wars 2. And quite often I'm very resistant to the QQ and whinging about dungeons, but there I will stand shoulder to shoulder with the naysayers because I think it's absolutely an important thing to recognize. I also found some of this, a lot of it's quite... I remember when Heart of Thorns was coming out and they were introducing the mastery system to us. And this is at a time where I was very optimistic about the mastery system, very happy about various aspects of its implementation, and I'm not taking those away whatsoever. None of this is because I find myself disliking it so much these days, right? But I remember when they were bringing that out, I remember Mike O'Brien on stage. Actually, maybe it was Mike, maybe it was Colin, I don't know, one of them. But they came out with this ridiculous comment that they had to do this. They couldn't increase the level cap because I'm doing so badly here. I just ignore my skills there. But they came out with this ridiculous comment that they had to go to the mastery system, that level 90 was never an option. And that completely flew in the face of one of the other core mechanics in the game, which is downscaling, which has always been seen as appropriate. And if they get the numbers right and they get the tweaking right, downscaling can absolutely allow Guild Wars 2. Downscaling alone can allow Guild Wars 2 to go up to level 90 and go up to level 100 and go up to level 110 and so on and so on, without necessarily breaking that core philosophy. And they sort of just pretended, once Heart of Thorns became a thing, they just started pretending that downscaling wasn't a thing. Oh, we can't go level 90, it will invalidate our old content. Yeah, but you just downscale people back to 80 in that content, and it should be balanced. Get this downscaling done right. Now, I don't know if there's some fundamental issue with downscaling. We know it's all a bit wonky, of course, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? So there's these funny little things to look at, you know, and you realize a lot of it's actually just PR spin. It's just a marketing twist. It's just there to placate people who think that the game has to be a certain way. There's no real difference, though. Not when you really come down to it. Not when downscaling's there. Whether we were level 90 and relying on downscaling for Heart of Thorns stuff. You know, like, hey, let me put a bow on this, right? We could be in a world where level cap is currently, Path of Fire level cap is level 100, but we are downscaled in dungeons. We could be in a world where we have a more meaningful dungeon experience than what we currently have, where level cap has stayed at 80, but they've ignored power creep. And they've not rebalanced properly with regard to break bars and stuff, right? It's all arbitrary. So hopefully that makes sense, what I'm saying. Now, yes, the level 90 thing does mean we would have more gear, and then you get into sort of the gear treadmill aspect of it, which I think actually you've just touched on is probably the more important part in this entire discussion. But there are even easy ways around that. And don't forget, I think it's true. Maybe someone, I don't know whether we've got anyone really intelligent in chat here on the underlying mechanics of the game, and maybe we've got someone who's great at wiki. It would fascinate me to get an answer to this. But isn't it true that at any point you are below level 80, if you're downscaled to level 79, if you're downscaled to level 70, blah, 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 isn't it true that ascended weapons don't count anymore? It doesn't matter? That it's only exotic at that point? Isn't that true? Or it was like that for a while, as far as I remember. What's power creep? Power creep is where there's like a balance pass on skills, where they say, okay, listen, Ring of Earth, it does 1 bleed, but that doesn't feel very good. Let's give it 2 bleed. And then like a little while later, they're like, okay, Dust Storm, this is only doing 2 bleed per tick. It doesn't really feel that good, especially not compared to Ring of Earth. So we'll give that 4 bleed. And they continuously do this, and slowly the strength of these skills creep up and up and up and up, but the monsters in the game don't rise in power to compensate. And so you might say, well, okay, hold on, why are they buffing instead of nerfing? And generally speaking, nerfing, being more conservative, in my opinion, is the smarter thing to do. But the reason why buffs tend to be more frequent than nerfs is because people hate being nerfed. People quit games when they get nerfed. People get frothing at the mouth, like lose all objectivity. The easiest way to take otherwise reasonable people and make them fools is to nerf their class in some way. For many people, nerfs are bad design, buffs are good design. And try as a developer might, I don't believe they can break that, unfortunately. Most people, because power creep's kind of a long-term thing that most people don't care about. Most of us only care about this patch or the next patch or maybe 2 patches down the line. But most people don't have they don't comprehend that far off. They don't care. So, like, if you nerf power food but not Condi food at the exact same time, you're going to get people wailing about it on the forums. Even though clearly Condi foods were going to be nerfed the next patch and, oh, look, it ended up happening. Doesn't matter. Because it didn't all come in one patch, people will wail about it. And so because power creep is kind of by its nature a long-term thing, they'll accept the downsides of power creep and the fact that all their old experiences are being invalidated by the back door. They'll accept that as long as they're buffed in the meantime. And so there are ways around it. You can embrace power creep and then just universally knock everyone down like World of Warcraft did. We talked about in a recent stream. There's ways around it. I'm going to do this on the Springer, I think. Skimmer, sorry. Skimmer. Get ready for potential lag. Nope, no lag on this one. I know. Someone was warning me that I had to sign in on the race. Wish things were like that, WP. If that was the case, we would be necro free. Necro free, what do you mean? I mean, it is an unfortunate thing, but I mean, and it's not necessarily stupidity. It's not stupidity. It's short-sightedness, and frankly, it's that most people don't care. It's like I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing or a stupid thing, but most people only care about the current patch. That's the truth. Most people aren't that invested in the long-term version of the game. And that's a reasonable thing, right? Like, it's not reasonable to ask your community, hey, can you accept the fact we nerf quite a lot? The majority of the time we nerf instead of buff. And the reason for this is power creep. Because in a year, we don't want our content to be invalidated. You know, it's not reasonable to ask people that. They want fun now. They bought the game. They want their fun now. And so, like, you know, I kind of see both sides. There's another thing I was going to say on top of that as well. Oh, yeah, and there's another side to it as well. Some people will say, well, hold on. It's old content. Let the power creep exist. Why not invalidate it? Screw it. Make dungeons easy. It's old. I did those before. I want to race through them instantly. I want to be able to complete it straight away. I want to be able to instantly wipe the Veil Guardian 3-man. That's fun. I've beaten it already, and I want to be able to destroy it now. And if you think I sound crazy right now, if you think that sounds insane and stupid and ruins what the game is, then hold your tongue, because you've probably got that opinion when it comes to the Griffin. So, so, you know, that's an arguable stance as well. I crossed the finish line. That was a very short race. But Quarteria and dungeons were never difficult. Raid and fractals are not really being power creeped on. I disagree with that completely. Go back to launch and look. You can see some experiences of dungeons that were really grueling. Yes, they eventually got invalidated as people, you know, realized how broken and short-sighted a lot of it was. But, you know, there were elements to them that I think really could have shone. Hello, Dead Zealot. Welcome, welcome. Wow, look at these hosts. Wow, that's 2 streams in a row. We've been hosted. Can, who was that just did that? Ilevia? Oh my god, I've not looked at a single overlay today. Thank you very much for the 40 viewers. I don't know, are you a Guild Wars streamer? Are these 40 Guild Wars people? Anyway, it's nice to see you. What? Somebody sent me £20 earlier. Oh, I'm so sorry. Northern Echo Station. God, I'm really twisted by these streams at the moment. I keep leaving streams. I've got to be honest with you guys. I keep leaving streams thinking that I've like, I don't know, been too whingy or done something wrong, or I don't know. But people are being really generous lately. Northern Echo Station says, happy Halloween, WP. Happy Halloween to you too, man. That's so nice of you. Thank you very much. And I'm really sorry that you did that 14 minutes ago and I completely ignored it. And I'm equally sorry to Ileva and the 42 people who just joined. It's nice to see you all. We're doing some of the new Halloween stuff. We just finished the race and we'll try some other things. And Ileva, if you send me a message, I'll try to return the favor at some point when I do one of my own hosts. 100% Magic Find subbed earlier. Lots of people have subbed. It's good to see you all. Speedy Z, the DLA, Cyrilupius, I'm supposed to be doing a production assignment, said 100% Magic Find right now, but I'm here instead. You spelt here weirdly, dude. But anyway, nice to see you. Happy birthday from Anjoys. God, Anjoys, happy birthday. Thank you very much. You always say happy birthday. Kabad says time keeps on slipping into the future. That was yesterday, so I think we're okay there. Yeah, that was yesterday. I come here to listen to you whinge. Oh, God. You need to spend your spare time doing better things there. There we go. So 2, 1, and the race is done. What do we get for that? A large candy bag. All right, chat. So where do we go now? What do we want to do next? As a returning player, I haven't played since launch. What can I get from the Halloween event? You can get a lot of stuff. If you're looking for 250 gold for the Griffin, you want to be doing this stuff, man. There's a lot of loot. Mostly you can get these bad boys. Limited use finishers. This one summons a scarecrow. Look at how cool this is. Are you ready? Look at the birds. Eating the body. Ready? Ready? Whoa. I mean, talk about epine and prestige. Let's watch that again. Look at them. Look, there's even blood there. That can't look like that on the Chinese release. They have to recolor that to you like yellow or something. Amazing. There's a really cool Divinity Original Sin 2 Scarecrow fight as well. That made me think of. Pretty badass. And if you're lucky, you might get one. I got one on this stream. So if you double click it, you can unlock it. I don't know how many you can get. I've got 12, as you can see. And I've got 11 of the other ones. And that's in 5 years of playing the game. So that's how rare they are. I've only got 11 and 12. I'm hoping to get maybe 1 or 2 more before the end. Thanks very much for the resub there as well from iCuruk. There's an achievement to beating the race in 2 or 3 minutes, one or the other. Is there really now? I wonder if I just missed that then. We'll try that. What else we got here? Just watch your video on the voice-acted Path of Fire books. Is it just me, or it feels shitty that the god left to go do a different Elder Dragon-free garden to help humanity there grow while abandoning us here, saying they still love us and all? Yeah, but I think that's what's beautiful about the story, that we can criticize the gods. I like that. Trezulabar says, I need 75 gold to get my Griffin. Do you think I can get 75 gold in 1 day? Do you think I should do fractals or Halloween stuff to get the gold? I would, if you're looking for gold, big advice to people, get into fractals. Listen, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Tier 1 fractals are really easy and are like soloable. And you can go in there if you've never played before, and with your friends who have never played before, it's perfectly okay. You don't have to rely on scary LFG toxic players or anything like that. Just go in there, have some funsies. It's like butterflies and rainbows. They've tuned it for you. Come on, in you get. Go to there. And then you'll slowly learn. And then you'll get to T2, T3, and one day you'll be at T4. It won't take very long. And by T4, you'll know what you're doing, and it won't be so scary anymore. And it's a bit harder, yeah, but it won't be so bad. Run like an Auramancing Tempest. They'll allow you to face roll the whole thing, okay, like a support Tempest. Run some Necros. You'll be good. And then for gold, just do your recommendeds every day. That's all you got. Not your recommendeds. Just do the, you know, the 3 T4s. Great gold. Just do that baseline. If you want money and you're a new Guild Wars 2 player, that is what you do. And there's no question about that. That's how you get in. And hey, you might even end up finding 5-man group at some point that joins up with another, and one day you might even find yourself in raids and stuff, which is an easy way to shortcut needing money in the first place because you can get ascended gear instantly. But it's a beautiful little system they've got there, and you should go to fractals. As just a baseline, get those every day, and then, yeah, maybe come to Halloween. More specifically to the person who prompted me to say all of that, come to Halloween and get the rest of your god from there. Halloween can give you 250G in an hour if you concentrate on mobs and work together as a team. Each stack is worth plus 10 gold. You can get 250 gold in an hour? That's mental. I'm not verifying that. I've never done that. What else have we got, guys? Seriously. Oh, I missed the achievement by 2 seconds, apparently. RIP. Okay, that's a shame. What story do you want the new raid to tell? Fissure of Woe, probably. No way. 50 to 75 gold is a bit more realistic. Oh, they say 250 bags. Right. 2,500 gold per hour. Woo! Yeah, I think T4s are fun to get to as well. No way, but you can get 50 gold an hour. You can get like 20 to 25 gold in a tour. Well, look, lots of contrary different things here. All right, listen, nobody's really giving me advice. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop being a little crybaby whinger. And we are going to go do the most ultimate challenge of Ultimate Destiny. And you guys are welcome to come. But I suggest you stay at the kiddie pool. Because this is not going to be easy. This is going to be challenging. This is going to be grueling. This is going to be the Mad King's Clock Tower. Here we go. I'm going to one-shot this biznitch. The Clock Tower, good choice. You must be quick on your feet and able to jump. If you reach the top, you'll be rewarded. Oh. Look at these posers hanging around here, thinking that they can make it to the top of this clock tower. Look at this guy sporting his Halloween gear. He thinks he's so good. Dun, dun, dun. Oh my god, it's already going? What? Oh, I wanted to take in the ambience. All right, here we go, guys. Here we go. Oh, I'm going way too slow. This is not good. Way too slow. We have to take some major shortcut action if we're going to catch up. Oh my god, we did catch up. I'm not going to lie. That was like insane what just happened there. Oh, we were still too slow. Sugar. We did really well to try there though. All right. Come on, guys. In you get. I'm no longer in a squad, but join me in the tower. Damn. I was going way too slow. I began that far, far too slow. So in all seriousness, I'm bad at the clock tower now. I haven't done it for ages. So I want to get one clear of it this Halloween at least. Did you see my previous post? I would like... What? Here in Twitch chat? No, if I haven't responded to you, I haven't seen it. Just repost it, Big Papa. I can't do this, JP, and I'm so frustrated. Well, you just got to have a good start. And I had a terrible start there. I don't think jump dodge is necessary here. WP never ever noticing donations. I'm sorry, I'm trying to play... What? Wait, hold on. No, that was the old one. Oh my god, Ewendell! Again, what? You trying to do some kind of weird streak, dude? There's no way you can be getting value for money from this. You've got to whisper me and tell me what you do for a living, man. I couldn't get to yesterday's stream. I don't think you'll get double. Oh, there we go. Oh, the streak has been broken anyway. Look, why would you do this? You broke the streak. You were free. All right, thank you very much. That's so lovely of you, and I'm sorry to immediately move on, but I'm going to really try and focus on the tower here. That's really nice of you, man. Thank you. Someone wants to talk to me about fractals. Hold on, guys. I'm going to be bad at chat while I do this, but I want to try and be better. Oh, God, I keep having these awful starts. I'm going to go for this chest, which slows us down quite a lot. That also slows us down. Oh, we just made it. That's the scariest bit right there. That's where you're the slowest. We get a lot of height now. So there's this other player here. It's pretty It's pretty intense with the other player there. I don't like it when there's someone else. Proper throws me off my mojo. I fell off. It throws me off my mojo, and trying to talk to you all while I'm doing it as well is not a good idea. I never actually knew I had to jump down once I got to the top until I saw your video. Oh, really, dude? That was ages ago. Oh, the other guy fell, so we're back in immediately. The other cool thing about the clock tower is when you're right it, you will roll in instance. You love watching other people fuck this up. It's so satisfying. I mean, it is a weird thing. Like, you know, there's that thing where you just see nerds on the internet saying, oh, it's easy. I find it so easy. And you just think they're being like arrogant and annoying, and you think that they've got like these, you know, these superiority complexes and stuff. I've gone way too slow here again. Hold on. All right, there we go. The truth is, though, once you've got the muscle memory down, it really does feel a lot more easy. And I'm not saying I've got that, obviously. Man, the second I start talking, it all goes to hell. The next one, I'm not gonna talk at all, I think. Jesus. What does that chest do? It just gives you extra loot, man. That's all. And there's a few you can pick from as you go up. Oh, we can't consume stuff here. That would have taken me about 15 times to get that far. Well, see, I've still got a bit of muscle memory from other JPs in the game and from doing it years ago. But most of it should be lost. Are you supposed to fall like that? The worst thing is Twitch are bullies as well, right? Like, so when you mess up on Twitch, people, like, hound you. And they're really mean. And life is so hard. Look at how hard it is running this clock tower and having someone give me £5. And earlier somebody gave me 20 of them. And bullies. Alright, here we go. I'm actually not going to talk here. I'll bump the volume up for you all. No, I won't. Yes, no, I won't. Just shh, shh, shh. We're not actually in much of a rush anymore. We just... So now, basically, at the top... I don't know when this is. We have to wait for the lightning to strike the clock face, and I don't know when it does. Is it this next one? Probably not. I'm going to hold off. Oh, no, it is this one. Go, go, go. There we go. We're in. Nice. Hey, we did it for this year. Yay, 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 yay. Woo! Congrats to Siren123 there in chat, who just managed to finish as well. And, oh, we still get lunatic boots. That's very cool. Can we open stuff now? And so then you get into this little instance. Now, I have a video of doing this years ago. The main problem was I had like some kind of lag bug. Where, if people remember that video, I had like some kind of lag bug where no matter how many times I climbed to the top and I tried to jump through that shattered glass, I could not go through. The loading screen would not take me. And I spent hours in here because of that. It was horrible. That felt pretty good. I'm surprised that felt pretty good. It's the second rotation around if you've kept a reasonable pace. See, I thought I did it 2 rotations around before, but in the video, I had a video where this was the background footage. And I don't think I'd been that fast or whatever, but I jumped and it hadn't been struck. But there I just demonstrated you can have enough time to notice the lightning hit it and jump and make it all at time. Check out the boots once you get out. They're not the boring ones from last year's. Really? Ooh, okay. All right, well, so we've got a chest here. I love this little room as well. This feels really special to me. This is actually one of my favorite things about the clock tower. The special ending room that, as far as I can tell, doesn't really reuse assets from anywhere else, or not too many of them at least. Like, this is what I really, really like about it. I love the artistry here. I think that this is, like, such a beautiful final touch, and it's such a good reward, such an interesting place to come to. I don't know. It's a very high quality jumping puzzle. I would love like a tribulation version of it, like an extra like imagine a double height one or something that you get to play with. We'll go one more while I'm talking and we'll see if we can get 2 in a row. If not though, I will leave. And yeah, I'd like to consume some stuff and we'll see how it goes. Someone posted on Reddit that a 5-year-old child did this, the same one who at age 4 did the Winter's Day puzzle. I thought that, didn't they do it when they were like 3 as well or something? That was like one of those threads. I saw it. I didn't click it, but I saw the thread, and it made me feel a bit old because I was like, I remember that, and now this kid's growing up. It's weird to think someone who was born right when I started covering Guild Wars on YouTube would be like 7 years old now. And if I do this same length of time again, they'll be a teenager. Do you know how much someone grows and how much of their life is? Can I really spend that long covering Guild Wars? It's weird to think about. Have you seen the Blood Lunatic Noble Medium headpiece? No, I've not seen that. So there's an armor set, right? I thought I did see a collection, right? There's a basic collection. Let's see here. Collections, basic. So can I just be clear about this? This added a full new armor set to the game as a part of Halloween. Why haven't more people been excited about that? That seems really, really crazy. Alright, let's go up. I'm going to try and talk, and not just talk, but look at chat at the same time. I just need these clunky intros are terrible. I'm getting caught on, like, terrain and stuff, and it's not pleasant. It means I'm having to do some risky, horrible jumps a little bit later. I'd rather not get caught on terrain in that way. Like that there. It's okay, we're not trying it, double. Whoa, yeah, never mind. Woo. They're a reskin, but it's still appreciated. Don't think about that, WP. I would feel old playing a game by that time, and I would feel guilty. Yeah, I mean, it's a funny thing. My first Guild Wars-oriented project was a Let's Play of all the games, right? And it took me a long time to do, but I did it. I remember at the end of that, I gave everyone quite a heartfelt story. And it was really important to me, and it still means a lot to me, but I gave people a heartfelt story about how, as a Guild Wars 1 player, I'd gotten like 5,000 hours, I think it was, or 6,000 hours or something. And at the end of my Guild Wars Prophecies Let's Play, which was on the back end of these 6,000 hours or whatever, I ended that series and I said to the camera, I said, listen guys, I really like that I've done this, and I like that I've built a channel out of this, because to be honest with you, I was feeling really guilty and weird and like almost like a loser, basically. I feel like a bit of a loser and a bit of a weirdo. I put thousands of hours into this game, and I said, listen, one of the reasons I've loved this LP and I've loved that you guys have watched and that I've built a channel out of this, I said, is because without that, it almost feels like nothing productive came from it. Like, it was all a waste of time. Like, why would I do that to my life? You know, I was guilty. I was genuinely guilty. And, you know, I didn't feel good about spending that many hours in a video game, in one game. And that I turned it into something productive was incredibly important to me. And, you know, I've kind of got over those insecurities. Christ, you know, I got 10k in the sequel now. I got over those insecurities. And, you know, I don't think you're a loser for playing a lot of any one game. I think that life is for happiness, and where you find that happiness is up to you yourself. And, you know, I'm a lot more open about those kinds of things now. But there is still a kernel of that in there. So sometimes I do find myself doubting myself. It's like, man, all these years. But, you know, there's been something productive out of it. Yeah, so if you guys want to hear the original version of that story, you can watch my Prophecies Let's Play. Not Prophecies, sorry. That's the end of Eye of the North. You can watch my Guild Wars 1 Let's Play. You just got to go through hours and hours and hours of fairly boring stuff, and eventually you'll get to me having a heartfelt story there. It's just going to take ages. Not guilty, Ace Attorney soundtrack. Yeah, sound effect. Yeah, you know, I'm a lot less insecure about that now. But, you know, I would never blame someone else for being like that. 10 more years, hype. I don't know about that. I don't know. Woody, you are daddy. Your lore videos are the best Guild Wars content out there for me. Keep it up, dad. I will. That's weird. Don't call me dad. I'm not a dad. I'm very unlike a dad. Do you know if there's any lore on how Tyria and the Mist came into existence? The Elder Dragons might be connected to the creation of Tyria, right? Since they are older than the GL and perhaps the oldest known race in Tyria, maybe. Well, no, yes, if you read the Prophecies manual, you can read about how everything comes from the Mists, and the Mists, like, create these proto-realities that are, like, reflections of previous stories and so on, but, you know, everything's born from the Mists. But tangible scientific details on how that functions, how the Mists birth planets into Tyria, neither has it been told to us, neither do I think it should be told to us. Like, it's kind of like that Lost thing where it's like you'll never be satisfied by the answer. What is the smoke monster? At the end of the day, it's mumbo jumbo magic. What do you want the show writers to give you some kind of, you know, quantum theory about it, right? Like, it's a magic universe where a magic world came out of the magic mists. I don't know what more you want, really. Maybe you want some backstory, some character that orchestrates it, that pulls the strings. But again, I don't think that should be told either, because I think the beauty of rich world building and setting and lore is actually that there is no one true interpretation we find out, but we get to see how different cultures come to their interpretations, right? like the Asuran's interpretation of the eternal alchemy versus how the humans might believe things are. I think that's the beauty. And to say, no, the eternal alchemy is right. To declare, oh, it's the eternal alchemy. To do that is, like, gross. And I hate seeing people in the lore community do that. It's to lose perspective of what's strong storytelling. I had a really good example of that from a TV show that I was watching recently. Oh, yeah, it was Adventure Time. So here's a good example of that, right? Of embracing the question mark. There's an episode of Adventure Time, right? Which is like a completely different story, basically. Like it takes place ages in the past, and it's all different characters. It's all different stuff. And it all seems like it means something. And then at the end of the episode, we just find out it was a character that was dreaming. And then the episode ends. And so there's two ways to interpret that. You can say, wow, look, the writers gave us this really interesting story, and was that true? And how much of that is real? And how, you know, what do we take from this? Is there some meaning there? You can go into it and you can have fun with it. Or you can say, oh no, it was a dream. Nope, it's not real, it was a dream. Denial theory craft based on it was a dream. You know, and you can just kind of declare these things. And I think that, you know, that's what you want to avoid. You know, even if it was a dream, obviously you're meant to think about it and look at it and wonder why an episode was dedicated to it and blah, blah, blah. And similar things can be said for Guild Wars. Anyway, that's a tangent that is only so loosely related to what you talked about. I don't know why I went into it. A couple more questions, and I think we'll leave it, guys. WP, how good's your aim? Have you ever been interested in shooter games? Yeah, the shooter I've played more than anything is Halo. I was very, very into Halo. I got to, like, you know, I think it's Commander, but I can't actually remember the name of the rank anymore. But in Halo 3, I played enough to get whatever was just below Brigadier. 3 stars, whatever that was. And I even played with rank for a while. I got pretty good at 4-shotting people and stuff with BRs back when that was competitive. And I don't know. So Halo's probably the shooter I played more than anything else. I played a bit of the original CS as well, but not so much shooting on it. Not competitively either. I played more jump maps. And what were the maps where you slide around? I used to play a lot of those as well. But yeah, you know, I can see myself getting addicted to a shooter again. There's probably other shooters I have played, but I'm not thinking about right now. WP Guildhall. Rukak, what a legend. He's figured it out. Yes, we'll do that. I'm considering buying the first Divinity Original Sin because it's cheap on PS4 right now, but none of my friends want to co-op play it. Would you say it's still worth it in single player? I've never played it in single player. I've got a friend who I introduced the game to. At least I think I introduced it to him. And I know he's played a ton of single player, and he got way more fanatical about it than I was, and he's a huge fan of it. And he played a lot of it solo. So yes, I think it's a great game to play solo. But it also holds that unique, specific distinction of being the only story-heavy RPG I have ever played in a co-op capacity. And the co-op has enhanced it rather than detract from it. It's story elements, that is. So yeah, it's a great co-op game, but I think it's also a good enough... If you enjoy, like, Baldur's Gate or whatever, I think that you can enjoy that. Surf, there you go, surf maps, that's it. I was not a surf pro, but I played a little bit of them. Sure, agreed, but they don't sort of ruin the mystery a bit by showing us the eternal alchemy in Omad's machine? No, because I think there's a lot to interpret from Omad's machine and the orbs, and I think that, you know, they're representations of deeper questions that should remain unanswered. You know, when I was a young teenager, interested in mystery productions, I always believed that there should always be an answer. Always, 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 always. Or, sorry, I believe there should always be an answer presented to the audience. I don't believe that anymore. I actually think some things can exist as mystery and never be answered, and there is something good to come from that. However, I will say something else. So, I've got a multi-Reddit, which is like lots of different writing subreddits and inspiration-based story subreddits and con world and con language building and blah, 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 and world building and some. There was a really interesting discussion thread I was reading in one of them recently, or saw recently, where people were asking the question, when you write a mystery, as the author of a novel or whatever, when you write a mystery, do you also always come up with the answer to it? And so authors were putting their impressions on what was, you know, whether they figure it out or not. And a surprising number of them say, no, I never answer my own mysteries. I just let them lie and I don't know the answer. I actually still loathe that, though. I don't think an author should ever do that. I think even if you never, ever, ever anticipate giving it to your community, your reader, your player, your whatever, your watcher, your viewer, even if you never plan on giving it to them, and its only function is to have some mystery that people enjoy, even if you never plan on giving it to your audience, you must know your own answer. And you must make sure that it's consistent with all else you do. And I believe that there should always be a core answer behind the door. Because it also kind of wins some of the joy of the speculation for your users if that's not true too. But I think in terms of, like, more broadly speaking, the consistency of your world and what you do, I think that's important. I think there must always be a conceived answer to any conceived question. And I think it is flippant and cack-handed and lazy to not do it. Whether you prepare to give that answer to people or not is a different topic. So I am still quite hardline on that. But I've eased up a lot. Anyway, guys, yes, if you want to come to the Guildhall, the Spud Guildhall, we're going to build a building. This will only ever happen once. And you'll be able to watch it on Wood Potatoes too, obviously. But there'll be something beautiful in getting to enjoy it right here. So if you guys want to, come along. We're going to build the workshop. We're going to get this Tengu to go over to the workshop. And we're going to see what it looks like to build this in the new hall. Heartlust says, Lost, the TV show, is proof that a lot of unresolved mysteries ruin the story. No, that it was not unresolved mysteries that ruined the story there. It was the way that Dalton handled it as executive producers and writers and sort of orchestrators of where the story should go. If you really want to understand Lost and what was bad about Lost, there is a fantastic review that inspired my Heart of Thorns review. A ridiculous... true passion is hard to find on the internet. This because most of the time people are just in it for the money, or they're in it for, you know, they're hopping on some bandwagon and they're trying to look enthusiastic. They're not true. True passion is hard to find because true passion exists in weird corners of the internet about things nobody cares about. And a ridiculously huge review of a TV series that finished a decade ago, that's true passion. And that's what you can see on Rete Reviews Lost. So you should watch that on YouTube if you really want to understand what's bad about it. And it's quite biased and negative and overly negative in some places, but it's very well informed. It's a brilliant review. I do not agree with all of it, but I agree with a lot of it. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful production. That I would, if you want to genuinely get why that show failed, you should watch. Goes off the rails a bit ranting about the community, but hey. Neok says, I already watched Lost and I know why I didn't like it, thanks. I watched Lost fanatically 5 or 6 times through. I watched it, except the last season. But I watched it many, many, many times through, and I learned a lot from that series. And I saw a lot of sides of the community and things that I never knew before. And it's a fun thing to watch as well. It's not all negative, because it comes from a true fan of the show. Do you think that ArenaNet should focus on story on continents that we've already been to or go to new parts of the planet? Great question, man. I think most, and I think this is unfortunate, but I think mostly people are just going to say they want to go to Cantha. There are some people out there. I personally am torn on doing more human stuff in Cantha or, and by the way, Cantha doesn't just mean human stuff. There's great Sylvari ties there. There's great ties from any of the other races, frankly, because of the whole xenophobia angle, right? So they can do stuff. But mostly, I'm torn on either Cantha, yes, or Char or Norn stuff. I think the people who deserve a great expansion most are Norn, though I'm a little bit cynical as to whether the devs can do it. I think the race I'd like to see most as a fan probably is Char stuff. I want to go to the Blood Legion homelands. I want to go to the Ash Legion homelands. I want to see the other citadels. I want to return to places that we saw in Eye of the North. I want to do all of that. I want to go more east, more into continental Tyria. I forgot I'm in game. You know, they expanded the map off to the right here a bit, right? So give us this. This all looks so grossly placeholder though that I don't know whether they really have any plans for it. But you know, I want to see this shit, man. This is cool. So I kind of want to see that. So that's what I'm torn on. But I think if you ask 10 Guild Wars fans what the next expansion should be, 7 of them will tell you it's Cantha. And I think the devs might kowtow to that. That's the word, isn't it? Kowtow? Isn't that like an Asian submissive thing? Right? It's like a type of bow, a gesture of submission to your greater. It's like, yeah? Anyway, so look, we got a few people here. Let's do this. God, there's no audio, man. Hello.
Greetings, guild member, and may the winds carry you to victory. I am Kencho Aerosol, and I have been sent to instruct you in the Tengu art of scribing. First, we shall need a workshop.
Who are you?
I am a scribe from the Dominion of Winds. We Tengu see how the world is changing, how the dragons have ravaged Tyria. We have come to lend my aid. We believe in loyalty, honor, and fate. A virtuous guild such as yours exemplifies these things. It is my honor to aid you and serve in the guild initiative.
All right, what is required in order to build a workshop? So he wants a workshop. He wants the mine excavation 1 to be done, which we've done. He wants 200 watchwork sprockets. He wants some mithril, some linseed, some airship oil, thermocatalytic reagent, orichalcum ingots, Alonian leather squares, and some quartz. In addition to that, he wants all of our stock.
In the Dominion of Winds.
Oh, is it now? He wants all of our Ethereum. This is uncanny. The difference between the voices, mine and his, right? It's very, very similar. He wants all of our Ethereum, our precious Ethereum, and lots of favor. But the GMs of being boss. Listen, Spud 2 guys who have been getting all this favor. You guys are legends. That's so cool. All right, so here we go. We're going to approve this, and we're going to get a ton of experience from this as well. Might even level the guild up.
Served him a meal in my old tavern.
Ooh.
I am pleased that you recognize the value in establishing a scribal workshop. I will oversee a temporary space to begin our work. Hopefully soon the guild can create a more permanent studio.
Yeah, the Canthan. Yeah, Tengu Canthan, of course. I mean, you can even hear it in his voice there, right? People are saying that that's Illidan from WoW. Is it really? I don't know. Oh, I'm the wrong person to ask that. Is that Matt Mercer? I know that guy, everybody's saying. It sounds like a cheap Western film's take on a samurai. It's Troy Baker. It's not Troy. Oh, look. WP was way better. Listen to this. The actual ego stroking happening in Twitch right now. Twitch giveth and Twitch taketh away. I'm experiencing some good giveth today. No petty, constant sarcasm. It's been good. Android says, when do you expect the next expansion pack? I think early 2019, now that ArenaNet has their shit together when it comes to the... See, I kind of want late 2019, because I want them to spend that extra 6 months you're kind of talking about there. I want them to spend on, like, Living World Season 1 or something. But that's my own sort of personal thing. When do what are the odds of them doing it? Probably low, let's be all real for a second. It's a guy called Liam O'Brien.
Live life well.
So, the cutscene, I've got to say, I was very disappointed in. What was that? It wasn't even a cutscene. It was a still stationary camera that turned off after about 2 seconds. Or did we have a donation? Donations facepalm. Oh, you and Doe. Come on, what?
This will be an adequate beginning. We have pen and ink and shelter. Let us embark upon the ever-challenging study of magical scripts.
And there we go. Thank you, Kensho Arrow Soul. I believe a new NPC will appear at the tavern now as well, so I'm going to sneak over there. But yeah, cool. So we got some tents set up now, and scribing has been unlocked for this guild. And we hit level 5, so that's all very cool. I can't wait to see what that building's like when it's built up. Very nice. Assembly device isn't too close. In one of the other halls, it's kind of nice to have the scribing building not that well built up because the scribing station is right next to the device. All right. So anyway, all of that aside, let's go over here. Ewendell gave me double donation today because he didn't yesterday. This is weird, and I hope you appreciate this is weird, and everyone's silently judging you, Ewendell. I will take your donation like a greedy dragon, and thank you very much for it. But yeah, thanks, man. That's actually so cool of you. Thank you very much. You also prefer WP's Tengu character voice. It's funny because most days I just get called a racist, so I don't know what's going on there. We got a bunch of what's the word? Mean people basically in chat today.
People person.
He says he's something of a people person. So we'll just stand here for a second. If you guys want to ask a couple of questions, these are guild decorations and they're very cool. Just in case someone wanders over here, as I believe they might. Unless they wandered to the workshop because that was the newest building that we built, but I don't think that'll be a thing. And I believe a new character should appear here who's going to be the war room or the arena person. I don't know which, but I think they will come, and I think they will say something when they get here, so we'll wait. No, not SJWs.
This place is epic, epic, epic.
You can say that again.
But please don't.
Who was that? Was that the guy? Was that the arena guy shouting about it being epic? This place is epic, epic, epic. You could say that again, but please don't. Breen Clutchall said that. So is that at the main waypoint, maybe, that they were speaking about that? How long did you spend in Asian countries to master that accent? I spent all of 0 hours, 0 days, 0 months, and 0 seconds. I've never been in an Asian country. I have, however, watched a lot of Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh! And what's even more impressive about that is I do not watch subbed anime. I only watched dubbed anime. Actually, I tell a lie. I have seen a subbed anime before. So, you know, I'm getting all... This is osmosis from the English, you know, voice actors. I thought you went to India. No, I've been to Morocco. I've been to Morocco, which is not really an Asian country. North African. Oh, well, I've been to Dubai as well. So maybe if you count, you know...
Welcome to our tavern, strangers. Are you the 3 initiative specialists I heard would be joining us?
Congratulations. You are correct.
He's always like that. You get used to it.
Or you'll invest in earplugs.
Brian Clutchall. I'm here to set up a market. A pleasure to meet you, barkeep.
I'm Sophia Carragher, retired captain. Here to establish a war room for the guild.
Caster Shoutsman, arena announcer extraordinaire.
Welcome, friends. I'm Gamley Adelsteinson, proprietor of this tavern. Nice to meet you. Feel free to grab some food and drink. I'm sure guild representatives will be here to discuss your specialties soon. Thank you, Gamley. I am hungry, come to think of it.
Ah, yes. Food fight!
Oh, Cormier, grant me patience.
Wow, lots of NPCs. That was kind of cool. Someone, the Flying Sock says, I'm from Morocco. That's cool, dude. I got to tell you, when I went to Morocco, it was one of the most profound experiences of visiting another culture in my entire life. It was truly wild. Obviously, I've only been to a tiny little bit of Morocco, and I'm sure the area I went to was kind of... could have been like an exaggerated example of what things are like. But my God, it was truly insane. The tight alleyways, the high stacked buildings, the smell of the place, the kind of restaurants that were there, the kids hustling for bubble gum, trying to sell bubble gum all over the place, the giant rug shops. It was like something out of Aladdin. It was amazing. It was truly incredible. The architecture, everything about it was really, really crazy. Yeah, Tangier. Yeah, damn, son. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. Hong Kong was a part of Britain. You are British, ergo you have been to an Asian country. That is true. There you go. That is true. I've actually done film studies. Here's a weird thing as well. I've done film studies about Hong Kong cinema around the time that it left the British Empire. Would you believe it? That's one of the more niche areas of film I've studied. I don't really talk about my history in film education, but there you go. Anyway, so there you go, guys. Thanks very much for watching. This has been a great stream, and I hope to see you all very soon. I've genuinely really enjoyed this stream. I know we didn't get to do too much Halloween stuff. Hopefully by the time the next one comes around, I will have played a lot of it anyway myself and have a lot more achievements and unlocks and things and fun things I can talk to you guys about, like the Mystic Forge and so on. I'm getting a little bit hungry, so I'm going to go find something to nibble. And I will see you all very shortly. Thanks, guys. I hope you had a good one. And again, thanks so much for the generosity to both Ewendell and Northern Echo Station earlier. You guys are legends. And anybody who subscribed today as well. I really, really, really appreciate it. So thanks, guys. And I will see you shortly.